happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, a podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the True Gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
It's going good, actually. Yeah, it is going good.
Is it going really good? Is it going... I was trying to work in a rivet thing there, but are you having a riveting time?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm quitting YouTube.
You're quitting
now.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. This is why I became a dad, so I can make dad jokes.
That was bad, even for a dad joke. That was one of the most awful experiences of my life. My day is ruined, and my disappointment is
glad
miserable.
I managed to crown that. For you.
What about you? How's it going?
I'm doing great, man. There's tons of stuff to talk about. E3 just wrapped up. It was a pretty lackluster E3.
That's one way to say it. I would probably have described it as trash.
It was quite bad, wasn't it?
It was shit, yeah.
The funny thing is, I see loads of people... Whenever there's any sort of strong opinion, and it's a negative opinion, there's always a group of people that completely take it and turn it into their own thing and make it something else.
Right.
So when I was saying, and when other people were saying that this E3 was bad...
so you're saying none of these people have ever done a good thing in their entire lives? You're saying they're all criminals and rapists and murderers and racists?
Not quite that far, but they're all like, oh, look, a lot of people will work really hard to put on this show every year and stuff like that. And I'm like... I wasn't saying these people are stupid or bad at their job.
Right.
I was just saying it was not a great event. And it's almost as if, like, you can't say someone has done something bad. I'm like...
Right. Well, also, like, they worked really hard, and the thing they made was crap. But they worked... I'm not taking away their hard work.
Yeah, they tried really hard.
Yeah.
They just missed the mark.
Right.
Anyway, E3 is over. We have got a few things we're going to wrap up in this episode, but we did do our Xbox and Bethesda, Square Enix, and Battlefield 6, Battlefield 2042 review.
It was like
check that out.
Our feelings of E3 and Summer Games Fest up to, like, with 3 days left to go, which were, like, events that we thought were unlikely to change the mark too much. We knew Nintendo was going to be okay. Yeah. We didn't expect anything major coming from Capcom. Yeah. So, it was like, it was pretty much a wrap. Yeah. But there were a few things that came out.
That's it. So we'll wrap up a few of those things here. Also in this episode, we'll be doing all kinds of things. We'll be talking about Ratchet and Clank as well, because we've both played that. I finished it.
I haven't yet.
You haven't yet, but we're still going to talk about it.
So that's why I can give you a full review.
Yes.
I'm going to give it a 9.9 out of 10. This is going on IGN. Buy the game.
Is that Jeff Grubb? Anyway, yes, we're going to be talking about that today. We will. Yeah. Before we get started, though,
that's right.
Our bros, our super bros who keep the lights and mics on,
and the gaming going,
over at patreon.com/Conbrosations. Those guys support us over there at the super bro tier. You guys are just amazing. Thank you so much for what you do. Those people are Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, Carol to Riviere, aka Catsper the Friendly Patron, Record Friction, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger, Martin Scorsese's Master H. Bars12, the Midget Alo from Smallville Sabine, the former freeloader Christian, Master Chief himself, Albiscori, Super Sus Ben Fryer, who is a defective, terrible clone of Eddie, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, the Filthy FIFA Fanatic Joe McCormack, the super sexy producer Sean, my juicy left nut, and Kevin, the number one simp. Of Xbox. Thank you, bro, so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the gaming going here at Conbrosations.
I really feel like not enough people make content, so they don't get, and like audio content, so they don't get why that is hilarious. And it tickles me every time. And every time I'm like, this is funny. How long is it going to go? Just wait for you to do a thing. But like, I'm sure most people don't get it. Yeah. But that is a good dad joke. That's a good dad joke.
We have just to quickly give you a little bit of housekeeping here, we're going to be doing things just very slightly differently today.
Okay.
It's hoping we're going to start something going forward.
Yeah.
I've been talking to... So Sean, we've named him the producer now because he basically makes sure that we're correct and we're all on the right track, and sometimes I need information
if
and
we
he goes
ever
and
say
finds
anything
it.
In error, you can be sure
he's going to be there.
At least one guy, at least Sean, is going to be DMing us. You said this, but actually, yeah.
He's also very good at like finding information about our channel and stuff like that. And he made a ton of great memes over the E3 thing as well.
Yeah.
So we've labeled him the producer because he's such an awesome guy. And we've sort of come up with a new segment.
Yeah.
So because we're so bad at remembering things and we often get names wrong and stuff like that, we're starting a new segment on this podcast. It's called, we're going to have to come up with the name. It's either going to be called Correct Conbrosations or Make Conbrosations Correct Again. I don't know what it's going to be.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to associate ourselves with things like that. And we're going to do it at the start of the show, where we correct everything that we may have got wrong in the previous episode. And the way that you guys do it is, you guys comment on this video.
So these are now 3-hour-long videos.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're going to comment on the current video.
Let me explain.
I'm just double-checking, bruv.
I haven't finished what I'm saying yet. Shush. We're going to comment on this video whenever you see we say something wrong. So if we come up with a name, like, for example, last episode, we said Avalanche Studios when it was supposed to be... Arcane Studios when it's supposed to be Avalanche Studios. Right. You guys can write that down, and we correct it so we keep everything straight. So people that are following us week by week get to go, that was the right thing.
Right.
Or if a different date, or if a different price, whatever it might be, you guys can help us out there.
But...
Yes.
Get fricked. We're only reading comments on... the last video about the video prior, right? So it has to be on YouTube. That's the only time we're reading the comments. You're going to message us on Discord. Tough.
You can pummel our DMs. We just won't care. I
really feel like you maybe should have phrased that slightly differently.
You can really...
clip it, boys.
You can really smash in Sheps' back door and it won't affect me. But anyway, that would be really cool. We actually did get one person writing for the previous episode. Let me just quickly find it. It was Zacchino. Haven't seen him in a long time. How you doing, bro? And he goes, Hades isn't currently on console. That's why they advertised it in the Xbox.
That's pretty big.
That's
big correction.
At the time, we was like, did they just advertise a game that's already been out?
Right. It seemed like they were.
Yeah.
So
that's a good correction right there. Thank you very much for that. And you get to, thank you very much. You get to keep us correct.
And that's also a perfect example of how this comment thing, the correcting combos or whatever is going to work is anything wrong we say on this, you're going to write in the comments of this video. We'll read the comments of this video in the next one to correct everything. Exactly. Also, if you write something completely false, we're pretty stupid. It's probably getting read.
It's probably going to get put in there. It's like, actually, do you know what? I don't think Xbox is around anymore. Oh, well.
So Square Enix, obviously the creators of Mario.
Yes.
So right.
Exactly. We'll probably believe it. Guys, on this episode of the True Gamer Podcast, we're going to be talking about a bunch of really cool things.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about a possible PlayStation event on the 8th of July.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Cyberpunk coming back to the PlayStation Network soon. We're going to talk about highlights of E3. We're going to be talking about Xbox One playing current gen games. And more here on the True Gamer Podcast. Coming to your eyes and ears every Saturday here on YouTube.com.
You'll have to search the True Gamer or Conbrosations. It'll come up.
Search for one of those, Conbrosations or True Game Podcast on YouTube, and you'll find us. If you like that and you want to support us, you can head over to that channel. You can hit the like button. You can subscribe to the channel to get more. It's really awesome and it helps us out. If you also like the audio podcast, if you're an audio virgin out there,
Chris,
then you can go over to your podcast services. You can type in True Gamer and follow us over there. Rate us 5 stars. It helps us out.
The rating us 5 stars actually really helps a lot. It's people underestimate how much liking the video, commenting, and liking the stuff, rating it 5 stars helps. It's a lot. It really is useful. So we appreciate it. We appreciate all of you. And one final bit of it's not. I swear to God, this isn't shilling. This is housekeeping. We're 5 sub points away from another emote on Twitch.
Yeah.
So 5 subs. If you got a Twitch Prime, or if you have Amazon Prime, you get a Twitch Prime. Don't let Jeff Bezos keep that money. Support your favorite content creators, which of course is only us. We're the only content creators on there, as far as I'm aware. Everybody else is just cheap imitations.
No.
So we're 5.
It's L who? It's L who? I don't know.
No, never heard of them. We're I think 5. 45's the next.
I'm not sure.
We're pretty close, and we'll get either the eyes emoji or another, maybe whatever. We're getting close to another emote, and we're streaming a fair bit. It's good fun.
We'll get the better version of the zucchini. That's what we'll get. We'll get a cucumber. That's what we'll get on there. But guys, if
Yes.
you really want to support us, if you really want to go the extra mile, if you can, head over to patreon.com/Conbrosations, where you guys can kick us a couple of bucks a month, and it will help keep these lights and mics on.
That's right.
And you can get the the True Gamer podcast early each and
Yes,
every
you
week.
do, yeah.
And you can also get the exclusive podcast, the Conbrosations podcast,
That's right.
which is our no filter, all hands off podcast where we talk about anything and everything. And you really, really, sometimes
yeah.
it's not medically advised to listen to that podcast. So just let you know that.
Disclaimer, we really will talk about anything, and we've never let being incorrect or facts get in the way of a strongly held belief.
Nope.
So the Combros is actually it's a good laugh.
It's a good time.
And you can get it for as little as $1 a month, and is that right?
$1 a month?
Yeah. And the only place to get it is patreon.com/Conversations. So
exactly.
consider it.
Yeah.
Consider it.
Yeah. All right. So we've
Yeah.
also been playing Ratchet and Clank, and we said we'd give a little review of our impressions of what we're doing. How have you been finding Ratchet and Clank,
Good.
Mr. Ratchet and Clank
Yeah,
himself?
I sent my review into IGN, so it's been published now. I've only played
Good.
7 hours of the game.
Good,
so
good.
Full
You said
review.
that in the beginning, and they said, "Sure, no problem."
Yeah, full review. So I had planned on streaming more of it, but I got incredibly busy on the days that I was planning to stream. Tuesday, there was the final event, which you streamed, and I didn't feel like starting another stream on the same channel within like half an hour of a stream already. It just felt weird. Then Wednesday, I was really busy and had a family thing. Today is Thursday, so I haven't.
Trust me, they don't care. They just want to hear about the Ratchet and Clank.
Well, so I'm just explaining why I haven't got all the way into it.
So how do you feel about Ratchet and Clank? Well, I had a family
And
thing.
I will
had
say-
to go to the shop.
The game is short overall, like something like 15 hours.
Yeah.
But there is a good amount of side content in there. So I haven't got too far into the story.
Ah, yeah. Okay, that's your one. That's your fault, isn't it? That's your
Yeah, but
your
I have
flaw.
found all of the Lombax lore on that one planet with where we get the boost ability.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Found all of that.
There you go. With
You
all
know?
the crocodile, the alligator things that sit on the tails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Ratchets and rivets. I'm really enjoying it. It feels like a pretty strong contender in the list.
Yeah.
I've said this before, that they don't really make bad Ratchet and Clank games. They just make ones that you don't prefer so much. 2016, I think, is a good example of a game that's like, it's still good fun. It's still Ratchet and Clank, but it's on the weaker end of the spectrum. This one feels like it's really strong, not just because it has the incredible mechanics and the PS5 and all that, and it looks incredible. It runs so smooth, but it feels funny and quirky in the way that Ratchet and Clank's games are. I actually was a little bit concerned that Rivet would be an odd addition.
Mm-hmm.
She's fitting seamlessly.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it, man. I'm really enjoying it, and
It
I'm
is
super
great.
glad I finally have a game that is a reason to have a PS5.
Yeah.
Everything else I've played on the PS5 has still been brilliant, but mostly it's loading times. I get better loading times and 60 FPS, which are a few of my favorite things. But The Last of Us 2 is brilliant on my base PS4.
Yeah.
Still great. But this, every time I sit down, I smile at like the 3D audio, the haptic feedback, the fact that it is running so quickly, that it is a PS5 game using all of that stuff and still loads that quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The portal mechanic is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like I've spent multiple times, not just, zipping forward and backwards on like, the one you can like hook to.
the thing too. Yeah.
But like sometimes you'll find areas and one will like open up into some weird like upside down world where stuff's floating around.
Yeah, like a pocket dimension, I think they call it.
Yeah, the pocket dimension. And we did it on stream where I went in and like just turned the camera and walked in and out to try to see like, is there a transition? No, there isn't.
You're trying to find the seams in it. You're trying to find, you can't find it.
It's freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. I'm really loving it. It's kept all of the charm of the original games, and added a couple new characters that we enjoy. It's added lore. It's good fun, and it's the best argument for why all games coming out now should be on PS5 or current gen only, but especially something like God of War.
Yes.
Horizon I'll give, that was in development before. It was made as a PS4 game. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But
They claim as well God of War was as well, but
lies.
even if that was, that's poor management then, because
Yeah.
you knew that it's not like the PS5 sprung up on you. It's like, oh my god, the PS5 is here. Why didn't Sony tell us? Oh wait, we're Sony.
We were covering.
They
leaks.
knew it was coming, and they should have done it.
We were covering patent leaks, rumors in 2018, which was about the time we were expecting an announcement. By 2019, it was 100% confirmed. So months after God of War releases, less than a year after, it is announced that the PS5 is coming. And what, you think Sony Santa Monica don't know what the frickin' specs are going to be? Come off it.
Mate, PlayStation. So Sony themselves didn't know that they were making the PS5.
Right, until they released it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mark Sony just came along one day and gave them, they were like, this is the new console.
This is it, yeah.
And they didn't even hire him. They were like, oh, you just made this yourself.
Right. Anyway, how are you... God damn it. God damn it. How are you finding it? Because it's your first Ratchet and Clank, isn't it?
This is my first Ratchet and Clank, and I completed it yesterday fully.
Yeah.
I got the platinum trophy.
Yeah.
No big deal, just a true gamer over
Yeah,
here.
you're not a big deal, we know.
Don't worry, don't applause, guys, because if you give an applause every time I do a true gamer-worthy thing, we'd be here all day. It's fantastic. Honestly, like, as well as the mechanics being so smooth, so slick, and so enjoyable, and so intuitive. Every time I'd do like a jump or a skate on a board and then I'll go flying in the air and I have to zip to something, it was instinctual. I knew exactly what to do, and that just shows from great game design. But also, these characters, like, straight away I was in love with Ratchet right from the beginning because of what a great character he is, right?
Yeah, because you don't know him. Like, I know Ratchet, I know Clank, I'm invested in them as characters. You've never met them before.
All it was with that first parade bit, I'm spoilers for the very first chapter.
Literally the first 12 seconds of it, like, it's so fast. Yeah.
Where he makes him the Dimensionator. He's sort of like, I made this for you so you can see your people again. I was like, oh. It was said so robotically, but it had heart.
Yeah, Clank's funny like
God.
that. Yeah.
But I do have to say, the character that stole the show for me, Kit.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
No way can anyone argue that Kit isn't the best character in this whole thing, especially with I'm not going to spoil the stuff that Kit can do.
Yes,
fantastic.
I know what you're
I'm like,
say,
this is the best character and the one with the most emotion inside. I'm like, that's my favorite character of this whole thing. Rivet is great. Rivet's hot and everything like that. And furry dreams. I've never been a furry before, but here you
Suddenly
go.
you get it. Counter.
Yes.
I fell in love with Glitch.
Oh,
I really,
the little spider bot.
I really like Glitch.
It was quite cute.
She's super cute. I really enjoyed all of those little bits. I really did. It gave me a bit, not a headache, but it was very hard. Where you're like, oh no, I forgot that. That was a bit odd.
Yeah.
By the way, this is a game where you can basically fly.
For those of you guys that don't know, Kit is like a little spider bot that goes into computers
it's like an AI,
clear up viruses.
Yeah.
And it's like a level within the level, basically.
It's a mini game that you have to do. It's like a canon mini game to allow you to, like, you come to an access panel, but it's been hacked, so you have to unhack it, basic gist.
Yeah.
And they made that not just a mini game, but like, I don't know, I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. Cool. It was really fun. I don't have a bad word to say about it.
Yeah.
Which there are some things that aren't incredible about every single game. Like, for example, this is the big sin. You will not be able to play any of the other games because they're so old now. You know? Because the gap between Ratchet and Clank is normally in my head, it's about anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
The last one was 2016, so that's 5 years.
Yeah.
And that was a game of the movie of the game and one of the weaker installments. Some of the better ones are PS3 titles, so you won't be playing those.
Yeah, I've got that thing. I can't really play too many old games, old
and
games.
They do feel dated.
And let's talk about how this looks.
Oh my god!
On top, it came out when it
I'm
first...
on a standard def TV, by the way.
When it first came out, they were like, okay, there's a performance mode and there's a fidelity mode.
Yeah.
Fidelity mode was 4K 30 FPS, and performance mode 60 FPS at a lower resolution.
What are you running? Performance RT.
So that's the thing. The performance mode didn't have RT, but then with the day one update, there was a performance ray tracing mode. I put it straight into performance ray tracing mode. The most gorgeous thing in the world.
Best of both worlds, isn't it? We'd always said it. You wanted 4K 30, I wanted 60 FPS. I don't care what the resolution is. And now they've married them both, and we're uniting the bloodlines once again.
Just great. It's just great. This is now
it's
we can have
isn't it?
Little baby RTs and performance mode children together.
bearing in mind that it isn't like a true ray tracing mode. It's like ray tracing light.
No, I think I think the way they said it, because I watched there was an interview with Digital Foundry.
Okay.
The ray tracing is full. They turned down the resolution a little bit, and that checkerboard rendering makes it look great. I looking at it, I'm like, this doesn't look any worse than 4K. It may be like to someone who's super trained can probably know it.
Yeah.
But in that whole thing, the not David Letterman, the other guy, which I'm struggling on the name, but the other guy breaks it down like he's almost fanboying with him. He's just sort of like,
well, it's a technological marvel, and it is, by the
fanboying
way,
for technology because he's a big tech guy. Yeah. And he's like, how did you guys manage to do all of this stuff? He goes, he did the same thing where like he was going through a portal, and I was trying to turn the camera to see if I can like see the scenes or something like that.
Clipping, and
there was nothing. It's like, what'd you do? And there was one funny bit. They go, we got the ray tracing down so well.
Yeah.
There was one moment inside the shuttle when you're going to travel to another planet. Yeah. There was ray tracing on the glass in there, as you would, right? And in the glass, the reflection was Rivet was on the opposite side as to Kit.
Yeah.
Or Clank, whoever it was at that time. And it looked like a bug because it was like they're the wrong way around.
Yeah.
But it's like the inside of a spoon.
Yes.
The reflection's the other way around. And they decided to remove it because it looked so off-putting.
Yeah,
but it was
wrong,
true
but
to
it's
life.
Correct. Yeah.
And I was like, that's such a... Like, we're so powerful, we're so technologically advanced that we've made things that are so accurate that we have to remove
that they look fake. Yeah, no, it's freaking... It's
crazy.
Absolutely incredible. I want to say quickly on the pocket dimensions... I feel like a lot of people that don't either care or they're trying to make Xbox or PC or whatever seem like it can do all the same stuff. This is not like a door with a weird looking portal skin around it to a room. It's another map.
Yeah.
It's actually another map in a conventional game, say like on a PS4 or a PS3 or Xbox 360 or whatever. To access that, you would have had to go in, fade to black, do a sound thing, load into the pocket dimension, do the pocket dimension, and load back out. Yeah. It is a different map. Yeah. It isn't like a door with a different looking. So it's a different map. Yeah, and you can just walk in and out of it, and it blows me away because I'm not a dev, I'm not Digital Foundry, but I have a very basic understanding of what's going on, and it blows my mind every time I do it. And I feel like... You good?
Sorry, I'm looking for my phone because, again, I forgot to do the times.
Don't know why I would have your phone. I started looking for your phone. I was like, oh, maybe I have it.
Whatever.
It absolutely blows me away. It blows me away. And another thing is that the hook portal emote animation is stunning.
Yeah, I would... Oh, man, how they managed to do that is really... Sorcerers, that's what they are over there. There was another thing as well. The guys were talking about, like, some people might say like the pocket dimension thing is slow enough and it's like simple enough of an idea that you could work it out on another console.
I think you probably could.
You'd have to really, really reduce the resolution, really whatever, in order to try and get it to work, because loading assets that quickly would be too difficult. Yeah. But one thing you wouldn't be able to do in that game is, when you strike the crystals,
yes,
and then you load an entirely new map.
Yeah.
In that instant. Yeah. How would you do that? You could never do that.
Right.
You could never load an entire map in that instant. And they asked as well, because the guy didn't believe it. He was like, how do you guys... When you hit the crystal, what's the process there? Is it...
Just for anybody that doesn't know, in the game, the whole point is the Dimensionator has made dimensions sort of bleed into each other, and there are these points, like basically big purple crystals, where if you hit them, it will flip you to that same place, but in a different dimension. It's one of the mechanics you move throughout the map. There might be a block on one dimension, you hit the crystal, go to the other one, there's something different there, and you can get across it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
They are... different maps.
Yes.
On a regular game, that would be a loading screen. I want to be clear, right? That's like going from level 1 to level 2, then back to level 1, then back to level 2. That's what's happening.
And he goes like, how do you do that? And it's like, we just load the next map in that instant.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how quickly we can get like the SSD along with the IO pipeline, everything like that, and to do with the CPU. That's just how quick we can move things along and load assets. There it is. I was like, that's just blown me away.
Like I said, I don't know how it's done, but I have an idea of what they are doing.
Yeah.
It's insane.
how is it that we've got this? Personally, for me, I think Returnal is also a Game of the Year candidate, but it's not going to be for everyone, so I don't imagine that's going to win everything. So, but this for sure is got to be up everyone's alley. They're going to want to try it, and they're going to love it. How have we had 2 games that are just bangers already? And again, you make them exclusive, make them just for the current generation.
I'll say this: I feel like Returnal could be played on a good gaming rig or an Xbox One.
That's the thing.
Series X.
It's fast. Not as fast as, like out of the realms of possibility.
Yeah. Like so to be clear, like Ratchet and Clank is a very clear example of why things should be next gen only, but specifically PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah.
Because Returnal
fanboy.
Absolutely. Returnal is a sort of game that just requires fast processing and a lot of it's sequential stuff, which is exactly the sort of thing the Series X is good at.
Yeah.
And importantly, Series X and PC run on the current or the regular processing way, sequential tasking,
raw power and
sequential tasks. The more power you have, the more tasks you can do in the shorter space of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way the SSD works, and that's what we've been trying to say. We've caught a lot of flack on it in some of our comments and Twitter and stuff, but I think people aren't understanding that we're not saying that it can do sequential tasking in a different way. We're saying the tasks don't have to be sequential now, and that's why they can load a map, because instead of loading the next section of a thing, you just start a different section. That's why they can do it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not a games journalist, so I'm not going to tell you to go and spend your money, but I don't think if you have a PS5 and you're like I was very fortunate to get a PS5 and looking at it and just thinking, I love it. It's incredible to play like Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us, whatever. It's so quick. But it's just a fast PS4 right now. And Ratchet & Clank is finally showing exactly what we were saying about it. It's blowing me away. It really is. And I think too many of the Xbots are going to say, oh, it's just like loading different stuff and it's just fast. It's not just fast. Fast isn't...
The thing that I don't get is that there's people trying to trivialize it, right?
Yeah.
And whatever, because the thing is that if it's not true, it's not true. It doesn't matter whether or not you trivialize it. And also, what you're saying doesn't matter if it's not true as well to other people. But everyone who is working on the games is saying that it is important and it is a big deal.
Yeah.
So why are we discounting all of that? I don't understand. I don't understand the logic, but
I'm curious. Probably when we got the spec, when we had an idea of what the SSD was going to be before the PS5 dropped, I said, then like 3 to 5 years, I think if this works, if it's reliable and everything, that PC gaming is likely to want to start using this SSD. What do you think? Yeah,
I think so too. It's just they have fast SSDs on on thing. It's more like, in my opinion, the way that they communicate with everything else. So like the GPU,
it's like the Apple
CPU
argument to
exactly.
Android,
it's because PCs are made of parts that talk to each other rather than a unified system. That's the bottleneck.
Right.
And unfortunately, I don't think PC gamers will give up the ability to be able to take something out and put something in.
That's the big draw to PC, isn't it?
That's the thing. One little bit breaks, or you want to upgrade. You can just take that bit out and chuck it in.
A little bit of me
with a PlayStation, you can't do that. And
that's true.
That's the downside. But in the upside, we get all of this. You get what I mean?
There's a little bit of me that's thinking, imagine a PS5, but it's got a 3070 in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yes.
This is, of course, the True Gamer podcast.
This is.
Coming to your, what do you say? Coming to your eyes and ears every Saturday.
Yeah.
Over on YouTube somewhere. Look, this podcast was made possible by cyberbullying.
Cyberbullies.
By people who, in the dead of night, snuck in and... These are getting dark. I'm not going to do it. This is getting dark. The True Game is on patreon.com/conversations.
Do you know what I thought of? Have you seen Ted 2?
Yeah.
You know where they're trying to steal Tom Brady's jizz in the dead of night?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Stay away from my jizz.
Stay away from my jizz.
That's going to be a meme. Stay away from my jizz.
No. Oh, God. Frick. Anyway, these are getting too dark. The true gamers over on patreon.com/conversations who support us at the $5 and above tier make this podcast in particular happen.
Yes.
Who do we have to thank?
We have Jeremy Horde, Sab2557, Jordan GA, Record Friction, Real Kermit Cinema, Kadea, as God made her, Catsper Coral, Isak Manny, Doc Nutella, Super Whale Ben, Kevin Crow, Albiscory, Diogo, Hey Man, where the fuck is Maria Judah though, Vanda, Benedict Clubbers, Fishy, The Jackal, Cobra SS, Jack Nicholas, and Max H. Thank you, bro, so much for keeping the lights and mics on, and this show, the True Gamer Podcast, going.
That's
with
right.
All of your hard-earned dollars.
That is right.
Bro.
Ratchet Clank is incredible. That's our summary. Yes,
That's
bro.
our summary of that. So, I want to kick it off with our highlights of E3. I want to wrap that up so we can get out of the way. So, we spoke a little bit about E3.
Yeah.
Some stuff happened afterwards. Mainly Nintendo happened afterwards.
Yeah.
And we got to see Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
Snippet gameplay. It was very, very hype in that moment. I still want to see more. I just want to see more right now.
This will cut against the grain. I don't care about Zelda games. I know. And I'm a Nintendo fanboy. It's just never been one that spoke to me. Fanboy. It's just never been one that spoke to me.
I get triggered. I can't help it.
Never one that spoke to me.
Damn.
Yeah, but if they'd have showed like a Star Fox remake, I'd have... Stay away from my jit.
I will say one thing about the Nintendo conference.
Yeah.
Nintendo are some bastards sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They repackage all of their games all the time and barely touch them and then sell them for full price.
We're the guys that played Pokemon Red and Blue, Silver then Gold, Black and White, Pearl.
At least that's like they try and throw another skin on it, maybe put some more Pokemon in there. But these guys are like, cool, Ocarina of Time, we gave you a remake. We're actually going to bring the original as well and just put that on Switch for you and pay full price for it. There you go, $60. And
we're just going to bring it for you. By the way, you have to buy it.
Yeah.
At today's pricing.
And then they're like, okay, we're going to bring this Wario game over here. Don't worry about it. We're going to bring this Metroid game as well over here. We're going to do that. And it's just the same. It just runs on a Switch.
Yeah.
Pay full price. And I'm like, you guys are the only people that can get away with this.
Yeah. This is not okay. I mean, I'm going to do it, but still, I just want you to know I'm not happy about it. Come on.
And then they bookend it with Breath of the Wild gameplay, and it's like,
yeah, because it shuts everyone up. Yeah.
We'll forgive you.
Right.
But anyway, that was a cool thing. What was your highlight, though, of all of E3? Like, what game are you most looking forward to?
I want to know what you're most looking forward to.
Is that what it is?
Why do you take all the wind out of my sails? Of course it's a Forza Horizon.
That's it. Sorry.
Everybody knew it, but I was just trying to build up the hype.
Apparently that was voted at so there was an E3 awards at the end, a bit like Game Awards.
Yeah.
And that was the overall of all the games that were showed.
That was the most mehly awaited.
The most anticipated game overall.
That is 100% not true.
I know. I said that is not a system seller, and Ben quickly came in and goes, actually, I think it is. We had got in a whole argument, but really it came down to preferences.
I believe that Forza is a system seller for like 1% of gamers. Which is, for the record, prior to having played Ratchet and Clank, let's say people they don't really know. I still don't think Ratchet and Clank as a franchise is a system seller. This Ratchet and Clank is kind of different, but I still think we can stand by that. It's probably still overall true until you've played it. Then you realize, oh man, you got to, right? Racing gamers are a small niche.
Yeah.
It's a small group of guys, very passionate. It's small in a $1.5 billion person pool, but relatively speaking, small. So, I'm sure people will get the next console for the next racing game, but that group of people, somewhat small.
And I was like, okay, Ben, he goes, I'm buying it for buying a Series X for Forza because that's coming out this year. And he's like, I'm not really a Halo fan. I've never played Halo before. And I was like, you're going to buy a Series X anyway. Apparently, that's the most anticipated game overall of all of the games that were shown. So anything you say is incorrect. Shall I say what
do you want to be? You're going to do yours was Forza as well.
Mine was Forza as well. That's exactly what it was.
I mean, we've been talking about Forza for years.
I have a couple of things. One was Halo, the multiplayer. Looked fantastic, and I've actually gone and watched. There's a couple of YouTubers that I went out to seek because I was like, these guys are hardcore Halo fans, and I want to hear what they say about it. And the way they talk about it is so passionate. I'm like, this looks really cool. I really want to play this. Horizon Forbidden West, unfortunately, was before E3.
Yeah.
But still is in that
I feel
sort
like
of
we can
area.
include it. Yeah.
As well as Summer Game Fest as well. Elden Ring. Elden Ring looks like my shit. I can't wait for that. I'm going to be all up inside that woman in the trailer and Elden Ring.
I'm gonna actually come out and defend Elden Ring.
Yeah?
Because a lot of people said, oh, graphically it looks pretty trash and blah, blah. It's the next From Software game.
Yeah.
It's very obviously, even me, I've never played one of those games. I don't have any intentions, because just the roguelike aspect, let alone anything.
Yeah.
Like, I might try Returnal because you've got it, but even then, like, it's just not my thing.
Even then, it's like, it is still a bit different, because like...
Right. But like, so...
Of the roguelikes, it's
so
a
like
Souls...
roguelites, I don't really go for, and I've never played a Souls type game, but I know they're a big thing. I get it. Even I'm looking at it going, oh, yeah, this is From Software. That's a Souls type game.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty good. Like the last one is like 6 years old or something.
Yeah,
Like it looks fine. And the group of guys and girls that want to play these games, they don't care.
No.
It looks more than good enough. It looks better than the last one that came out. It's From Software. It's a Souls type game. It's good enough.
We just want to be in that crazy world and just be with it.
And like you said, that's my shit. Everybody that likes those games looked at that and went, that's my shit. Wish it looked a little bit better, but that is my shit.
Yeah.
That's my jam, my peanut butter, and my sandwich right there.
So just because of Elden Ring being there, I don't understand how Forza Horizon got the thing.
Straight up.
That's just... Well, sorry. Do you know what it is? I'm so stupid.
It's because you have taste in it.
That's it. No. It's because that's Summer Game Fest.
Yes.
That's why it's not in that category.
Right, yeah.
Because it's E3 game of the show. That's why.
I see.
But still, I have to imagine there's something else out there. What else did we see at E3? Halo's got to be better than that, man. Granted, we only saw like a little bit of the multiplayer. Anyway, that was what I was looking for. Was there what stood out to you? Was there anything you call your gem of E3?
I need to be really careful about not getting my own hopes up about Halo, but Halo. Halo is
a dangerous world, isn't it?
Halo is a game that is so near and dear to my heart. I love the Master Chief, the canon. I've got a bunch of... They made books about... Because there are events in the games that are referred to that don't happen in the games. So like the Fall of Reach, they made a game about the Fall of Reach. It's the first planet the Covenant attack, the aliens attack.
Right.
There's books about how they made the Spartans, which I read shit like that. I love this world and this universe so much. One of the reasons as well that outside of Halo, when we started playing Destiny, that it never sat right with me playing Destiny, because these are the guys that made Halo. They left my baby. They made this, which is good, but it's just not what I wanted, and it's been repackaged, and so. I can't tell you how much I love Halo. It's really, and I'm not being, because it's a podcast, it's probably in my top, like, it's easy top 10. It's probably nudging its way into, like, my top 5. So, God of War, The Last of Us, Halo, like, that's how close it is to me, for me, right? It is really an incredible franchise. And seriously, I wasn't joking. I will follow every single dev until their graves if they mess this up, because I am now, despite my best intentions, my best efforts, excited for it.
Yeah. I
will make you know my name if you mess this up, because
what's my name?
Is special to me. So Halo.
How worried are you that they didn't give a release date? And how worried are you that we didn't get to see more gameplay of it?
I felt that we got... I know I kind of answered this before, and I don't think you like the answer, or it's not enough for you, but because we saw the multiplayer footage, for me that shows that the game works.
Right.
And then the only thing is, because they included map builders in a bunch of these games, right? I think even Halo 3 had the Forge, So you could build your own maps.
5 didn't have Forge. This is how much Halo content I've consumed. That'd be like,
right.
They're like, 5 didn't have this. It didn't have big team battles or something, whatever that is. And I was like,
so even Halo 3, you could make your own maps. And so the reason I bring that up is that making maps, as long as it isn't difficult, right? Realistically, you get what does the map look like? Are we going to have a wall here, a portal there, a jump pad here, that kind of deal?
Yeah.
Because we did it in Forge. We built them ourselves, right? So I'm not too fussed about that. The fact that the multiplayer exists shows that, like, probably maybe there's balancing issues, but, like, the guns will work, the characters will work. And then the thing I'm most concerned about is getting the story in. I need the story to make sense. I need it to work. I need them to honor John. That's the Master Chief. I need them to honor Cortana. I need them to give... I forget what the new AI's name is.
I don't know as well. Shit.
But I need them... I need you to make me care about her.
She's called The Weapon, by the way.
She's just called The Weapon.
I don't know if she's got another name, but from all these videos that I watched and also the little cinematic trailer we got there, she's called The Weapon, which is like a program which was designed to capture and apprehend Cortana.
Yeah.
And then Cortana was to be taken by the chief to... Is it the USSR?
Yeah. No.
God. What is it called?
It's like... I forget. It's like UNN or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. To then be deleted. And that's her function. And she was called The Weapon.
Yeah, the basic gist about Cortana is she's a hyper-level AI. She's conscious, basically.
Oh, shit.
And a super genius.
And also has the hots for Chief.
Mate, she's thick. She's thick. Cortana's like my first digital bae, the first AI I ever wanted to bang. And you'll meet... Have you met Edie yet? I don't think you have.
From
Edie's coming in Mass Effect 2.
Oh, no, I haven't met.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, the thing about Cortana is 343 added this in 4, and I felt like it was a good way to go, which is that she is... because she's a super genius personality but isn't actually in a brain, like she's degrading.
Oh, okay.
And kind of the point of 4 and 5 was trying to 4 and 5 was to kind of like save her a bit. I'm okay with that, but now from the trailer we know that seemingly it didn't work. You need to... They killed Joel, okay, from The Last of Us.
Oh,
this is
Joel.
Losing Cortana is losing Joel.
Okay,
is that big of a deal?
You said it out of nowhere. I'm like, I don't know who Joe is in Halo.
It just popped into my head how big of a deal it is. And so the thing is, you need to figure out a way to maintain that relationship without them being present. For The Last of Us, they use flashbacks, which are really well done, and prove that they understand the relationship that they destroyed and why this revenge means something. I don't know how they're going to do that with a literal AI, because we've also been at war for most of it as the Master Chief. I don't think we built tender moments with Cortana, really, right? And kind of fan theory, but we're in love with her. Like, Halo is kind of it's that relationship between Cortana and Chief, which is it's this love that's clearly there, but they can never do anything with it, right?
Until they get her an animatronic body or something like that, and then
that's the way I was hoping the game was going to go.
They give her a Shrek.
You clap Covenant cheeks, then you clap Cortana's cheeks. You know, like, so
filthy.
So I'm very cautiously optimistic. I'm really worried. So there are little things like I was talking with George on Twitter. They removed Red versus Blue, which is the original multiplayer. You just played as Spartan dudes. Yeah. One team was red, one team was blue. That's how you told the difference.
Cool.
Then in later games, they start adding like new skins, new suits, new helmets and stuff.
Yeah.
Fine. Removing Red versus Blue, it might just be because I'm slightly older, but Red versus Blue was the first gaming content that came out. Like, it really... There were... Gaming content like on YouTube started with people just uploading their best gameplays, and then when people figured out how to record audio, two things happened. You got COD commentaries and you got Halo Machinima.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you guys are too young to remember Halo Machinima, but they used, because it was functioning like a photo mode almost, but you could get like a third person thing, so they had, you know, movies.
Flying camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had movies of the characters and they wrote dudes and stuff, and then they met, you know, because there was the Master Chief and the Arbiter, so they could add all this stuff in, and people told movies. They made movies in the Halo engine with Halo.
So the removal of that hurts you personally because of that memory.
because the Halo's really important for content creation in two ways, because obviously it brought up MLG. MLG started with Halo, not COD. It was all about Halo. So the online stuff is big, but also content creation and storytelling. So like COD commentary is like, hey, this is my loadout and this is how I use the MP5 on this map. It's a form of content, but it's not like creative. Almost all the creative stuff, I would argue, stems from, look what we did with Halo. And other people, well, I like this. Maybe I can tell a story in that, or in this way. So it's near and dear to my heart. And I wish it would have been included somewhere. Like TDM. Corwin Nirok messaged me and said, well, if I have these awesome skins that I've made my Spartan look a certain way, I don't want that taken away in the red versus blue thing. And I do take that point. Yeah. And I'm not saying every multiplayer thing should be red versus blue. But I wish they just kept it, say, for TDM and just called, instead of TDM, just red versus blue. And at least keep it in honor of the roots, because that's my big thing about sorry, I didn't mean this to be a Halo rant. I'm really passionate about this game, But my big thing is that 343 don't seem to really know or have performed well enough with the IP that they were given,
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. We don't know how this one's going to turn out, but past installments have shown, at least I've known enough to hear from people, that it's not been that great. I will say about the red versus blue thing, because they are taking the approach that this is going to be a free-to-play Halo multiplayer, and it does have a battle pass system, you do have to have so many variants of skins and customizable parts.
It's the draw,
If you do put the red versus blue thing into it, then you severely limit yourself down to just the look of the stuff rather than just the color of it as well.
This is actually a concern of mine, one of many. I understand free to play for Battle Royale. I totally get that model. It obviously works. Warzone, Apex, and Fortnite are making more than the GDP of probably the bottom 50 countries combined. They make a ton of money.
Yeah.
But all of the multiplayers free to play? Are we sure about that? Because like things like TDM, Domination, Capture the Flag, is that free to play? Are we sure?
That's what they're saying.
So you're saying I can play my Halo multiplayer? But so now, let's say that is true, and let's say it works, and then in that case, I do kind of getting rid of red and blue. I wish they would make a mode that's just red and blue.
Yeah, for nostalgia's sake.
Or literally nostalgia mode. It's every single thing, but it's only red and blue.
And then you see it red and blue.
Right, something fine, right? If you're going to make the entire multiplayer free to play, there needs to be a huge draw for me to play the campaign, which I want to play. I don't just want to play the multiplayer. I love multiplayer.
So this is a question actually I wanted to get to. Is like through all of this. So
I'm really sorry to make this a Halo rant, by the way.
No, it's okay. It's all gaming at the end of the day, and this Halo's a big thing.
Yeah.
They're making the multiplayer free to play.
Yeah.
So essentially, it has to be standalone.
Yep.
Because if you don't want to pay for the game, then you can play Halo with it. So do you think then that the campaign is separate? And if so, how much does it cost? And
you can't charge $70 for just the campaign, for just a Halo campaign.
I was gonna say, I mean, even 60. Would you pay 60?
Only I'm stupid. If it's good enough, I will.
Okay, I mean that's the thing. If it's good enough, you can pay any price, right? But for example, for me, I
did it for Halo 1, 2, and 3. So yeah.
I like to be in the know. So if we get close to it and everyone's raving about it or something like that, I'll be like, fuck it, I'll chuck whatever price it is at because I want to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm not everybody. No. And there are people out there that are even pissed with the $70 price tag. They're like, $10 more, I can't believe it. The worst thing in the world, I'm going to die tomorrow. So, and there are people that are pissed off at Battlefield for doing a multiplayer only and charging that money. This is the same thing but opposite, except it is a narrative and PlayStation has proved that if you make like a good narrative, then you can charge a price like that.
Ratchet and Clank's worth $70.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank is worth $70. If you, even as a tech demo, even if you don't like the story, just seeing what they do with the tech, I do think it is worth $70. And when we expecting that games are going to come out with that kind of technology, $70's right.
Yeah.
You can't make that game for 40 or 50 or whatever.
I think they do make it. Well, it is going to be standalone. It has to be the way they're doing it like that. But I think this is actually a good thing because they're putting it out on Game Pass, and they'll be like, if you're a Game Pass member, you get free.
Yeah,
that's what it is. You just in there, and that adds even more value to Game Pass. Except,
I will borrow your Xbox One, get a month trial, play the game, and never pay for it. Why would I do that?
That's a greater conversation.
That's our beef about Game Pass. But and realistically, if the game's any good, I will actually buy it. But
so I think that's why they might.
Is it campaign only? I don't think you can argue campaign only for 70. I think you have an easier time for the multiplayer because multiplayer you're going to get untold hours. How many days of gameplay have we got on Call of Duty games?
You know what? I don't. It's because I'm not a Halo player. I'll have to like.
Just think about Call of Duty.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was going to compare it to. Call of Duty, it is the multiplayer that you pay for. You're not paying for the campaign.
Some had brilliant campaigns. Yeah. COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1.
But you're not there for the campaign. You bought that and you were like, shit, that had a good campaign with it.
Yeah,
and
now to play 4 days worth of gameplay with my boys on.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Is Halo like that? Or it might have been like that at one point, perhaps.
I think you can definitely compare. So Halos 1 through 3, they... the first Call of Duty to ever compete with Halo was COD 4, and they came out both in 2007, Halo 3 and COD 4, and even then Halo 3 was bigger, and then COD 4 took off. So I mean, I think you can, at least in that sense, you can compare them, and I do think that well, you know what? No, actually, because the campaign, I would have plenty of times. Let's say it was 2007. And we both had the PS3 and the 360. There's a good chance that we would jump on Halo and just jam like co-op missions and stuff on Legendary mode. That's a lot of fun. So is the multiplayer, but that's a different thing because you never really co-op missions in COD.
So then it might be a very good choice then to do this, right?
But I feel like overall, we would probably have spent more time on the multiplayer, just jamming with our boys. I don't think we. It is a thing you do in Halo is go on co-op missions. That is a thing, and it's a ton. By the way, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But I think you can compare it to COD for this discussion. Yeah.
What this is, I think, is going to be a public perception thing because at the end of the day, if you look at it from like a standpoint, you take a step back, you're still getting the multiplayer.
Yeah.
You're still getting the campaign, and you're still paying the same price that you would be paying if you were to buy it as a whole package. There's going to be a few people that are going to be like, but the thing's free, so I should get this for cheaper. It's like...
I'll also say...
I don't know. I mean, I don't see that way, but yeah.
It really depends how much they make in microtransactions.
Yeah, yeah.
If within the... Because then, if it's anywhere near as popular as Warzone or whatever, you can get away with selling the game for 40. Don't worry. You know, even at the ridiculous price we think it's cost, within 6 months it'll have made that back easy.
If it's good microtransactions and a decent, nice ones, not like...
And weapon skins and you know, all that stuff.
So they have a battle pass system, but it's a little bit different. The way they described it was a battle pass system where it never expires.
Yeah, wait.
So you don't have to... So if you buy a battle pass for a certain month, the month is 100 levels, but you only get up to level 5 in that month.
You still have that battle pass.
You still have that battle pass, which you can grind out and get to level 100 if you want to.
And once that's done, you'd need another one.
Yeah, I guess I guess they'll keep adding stuff to it. I'm not sure how they'll do it, but they said it will never expire. And apparently you can swap your battle pass for a new one. So you don't even need to go buy another one. You can just go, all right, I'm done with this one and swap it for another one. I don't know quite how that works because then it's like, why would you ever... You never need to buy one ever again then.
I feel like...
But it's a new system.
Part of the way that this whole skins thing work is people's competitive nature.
Yeah.
So, like, I bought one battle pass on Fortnite. It's probably expired now. I'd have to buy another one. But I played enough that I gained enough points to buy the next one because it did expire every season or whatever it was. And... as you progress through it, you get that battle pass's exclusive skins, right? Or you can purchase them, whatever. I want to do one purchase, play, and be able to grind and do that stuff, right? So, as long as they incentivize the skin competition,
Yeah.
It's worth it. It will work. It will work. Because if they make it so that all the best stuff, which is how they do it, is all the way at the end,
Yeah.
either you got to play a ton of the game or probably buy the stuff. And then if you get to a point where you get the stuff that you want, but you like your Game Pass expires because you beat it in a way, or maybe they make it so that if you get one pass, but like let's say you swap it to the next one, you start at like level 70 or whatever, you get 100 levels, but you have to start at the beginning of it, so it'll only take you 30 levels in,
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm sure they've thought about it.
Yeah.
And definitely the people at Microsoft have thought about how to milk money out of their base.
Their suits, what do you expect?
I hope they add a lot to the single player, because Halo is not like Call of Duty. In this way. Call of Duty, you get it for the multiplayer. Sometimes it's got a great campaign, but you get it for the multiplayer, you get it for zombies. Halo, you get it for both. You get it for both. And one of the major differences is that in all the different Call of Duties, you're following different people.
Yeah.
You're following Master Chief the whole way through this thing.
Yeah.
I have a relationship with Master Chief and Cortana. I don't have really with any of the Mason, the numbers Mason, right? Yeah. Don't really have or Soap.
Not at all.
So I think there's something here. They just need to do it right.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Because this was actually an E3 highlights and wrap-up thing before we went on
so Halo was the thing,
Halo conversation. I wanted to read out a few of the guys who also wrote into our Discord server about E3. Sean writes in and he said, my number one highlight of E3 has been Elden Ring, and with more information coming out about it, it's making me more and more hyped for this release. Also, Breath of the Wild 2 trailer was great. Really excited for that. The rest of E3 was bad. Honestly, you made it so much better with all the memes you made.
Yeah, so I want to say that's one thing. Summer Games Fest and E3, both combined, trash.
Yeah.
Utter trash. The best thing about it was hanging with my boys, jamming with the chat.
Yeah.
By far the best thing.
Yep.
If we'd had to do that, if I'd had to watch that on my own, I would not have done it.
It would have been so depressing.
So like guys like James and Ethan, who that's pretty much how they did it, are saints.
Yeah.
They're warriors, because I could not have got through that. I could not have got through that on my own.
Not at all.
So thank you guys for making it bearable.
Ben writes in, Super Whale Ben, and he says, so for me, the highlights were the Xbox Bethesda game showcase. Before this week, I didn't really see much of a point to buy an Xbox Series X. It just didn't have the games. However, throughout the entire of the event, I was seeing more and more games that I wanted to play. I was thinking about how if I was to have a Series X with Game Pass, I could just pretty much play these games day one. Suddenly, I was seeing the value in it. What really capped it off for me was that the announcement of Forza Horizon 5. I have always loved the Horizon games, and it has been long since I played the new one. It looks incredible, and it will be trying, and yes, I will be trying to get a Series X so I can play the game when it comes out.
Fair enough.
No, I'm not just getting an Xbox for Forza though. On Sunday, I saw Xbox have a plan, and they have a good few games coming in the year. And then more in 2022, and even more in 2023. I think Xbox are finally on the rise of coming back out of the grave, and I actually agree. They're on their way.
I really hope they keep this up.
I do think that this year's still a bit bare, but
yeah.
If you want to play for Halo, you could get it. But 2022, 2023 is where it's happening.
I will say, if Halo Infinite comes out and it is sort of a real Halo successor,
yeah,
let's call it a true Halo 4.
Yeah.
The whole conversation changes. It really does, because it's like coming out with God of War.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on that. It really is on that level. Not quite in the way the story speaks to people, but it's like up there. It will be in the conversation with games like God of War. I do worry that Xbox is on the quantity not quality boat. Yeah. And I would like to see them. I'm glad that there's a lot to play on Xbox. I would like to see them, and they know how to do it now. They've got the report on The Last of Us and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Make something like that. I was really hoping, and I've said how disappointed I am that games like Medium weren't quite it, I wanted to hear more from that. I was hoping that would be a console pusher, but it's not. But I really hope they're going to start coming out with these sorts of games, and that suddenly the conversation won't be, oh, if you want to play good games, you've got to go on PlayStation. If you want to play a lot of games, you've got to go on Xbox. And it's like, well, what games do you want to play?
That's the thing. it has been a very long time since we've had an Xbox exclusive game on Xbox.
Or one
And
that was
with-
any good.
And with Medium, it's not an Xbox exclusive game now. It's coming to PlayStation as well. It's been like over 600 days since we've had an Xbox exclusive game from an Xbox studio to come to Xbox. And that was the... there are stupid people online that say stupid stuff, and they're like, "Oh, Xbox has no games." It's like,
no, that's not true.
They're just trying to make fun of you. Don't just ignore those people, right?
That's stupid.
But what people are trying to say, especially when it comes to a critical thing, we're not trying to make fun of anyone. We're just trying to say games that have really turned people's heads.
Yeah.
Games that really people go, "Oh, wow."
Right.
Like the way God of War has.
Games
and
that
all
go,
the games
you
that we
should
keep
really
talking
buy
about.
a PS4 because this game, God of War,
Exactly.
is incredible. You know, that kind of thing, yeah.
And in that showcase, I did see a couple. Like, I do think that Starfield has the potential to be something because space is such a cool setting.
Yeah, sci-fi's great.
A couple of the other CG trailers, if they turn out to be good games, they are going to be incredible.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
And all those games that they showed that weren't exclusive, but they're like timed exclusive, or they're going to be on Game Pass day one, those games are cool as well. But they are available elsewhere, and you need something that's just on the console to push it. And that's what they mean by... That's what the normal people mean when Xbox have no games. They're trying
when
to
we
say...
say there's nothing to play on Xbox,
We want something that's substantial, that will make it irresistible, and for you not to have a choice to be on another console.
Right.
And that's what they mean. But hopefully that's changing. We've seen a lot of announcements, and in a couple of years we should be able to get some
I
stuff.
do want it to be the case that games like God of War, games like Halo and Fable really push up the numbers, and they go, okay, yeah, we need to do this stuff because the deck is stacked in their favor. They own Rare.
Yeah.
They could give us Banjo. It's for real. But for real, you've seen now. Like, this can't be the only report about, like, The Last of Us. They must have seen that Spyro Reignited, the Crash games, Ratchet and Clank keep doing consistently well. Right? Right? It's not just me. The Spyro games, they did really well. You know, the Spyro Reignited trilogy. All of the Crash games doing really well. Ratchet and Clank doing incredibly well. Like, that's the exact kind of game a lot of people want to play. You own Rare. Do it. You've got the game already there. Just do a remaster or a remake. Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. Bring them out as separate games. I guarantee you there are people that all of us, even with Ratchet and Clank, are still somewhat game starved. Bring out Banjo-Kazooie for $70. People will play it. Give it 2 years, bring out Banjo-Tooie.
Yeah.
People will buy it. People will. It pads you out. You own Rare. Do it. Why not? Why not? It doesn't... Xbox are making a lot of really weird decisions. They're doing a lot of really good things that I like. And then they wrap it, you know, in their sandwich, which is totally distinct from a burger, in this weird bread of strange decisions, you know?
It's funny you mentioned that when it's Ben the one that's talking.
Yeah.
Let me read the rest of his comment. He goes, "No, they aren't Sony, and I'm glad they're doing different things to Sony, and the same with Nintendo. I like that the three major video game companies are doing different things. Would be a boring Xbox if it ended up copying Sony to do things. Anyway, standout announcements for me were Forza Horizon 5, Plague's Tale 2, which if you haven't played the first one, I can't recommend it enough. Replaced Stalker 2, Slime Rancher. I actually had so much fun with the first one. I do think that we should have seen more Starfield, just a bit of gameplay, a bit of a gameplay trailer perhaps, but I'm not completely mad. We still have a year and a half of releases. I'm not desperate for gameplay. E3 has been kind of meh this year. A few great announcements amongst shit. However, for me, Xbox event was a couple of shit things amongst great announcements. I
feel like the Xbox event overall was definitely the best of the lot.
Yeah.
Although that's a very low bar.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like, really, if there was a Sony event in this...
Well, we think we're getting one in the next, 2 weeks?
Yeah. There's a rumor we're going to be talking about that. But I'm thinking, like, normally the way it works with every E3, Microsoft goes first. And we're like, yes, that was such a great show because they are great showmen.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of great games there, like they did the Cyberpunk thing.
Yep.
And then we see what Sony brings out, and then we're like, wow, that was actually not that great in comparison to Sony.
Yeah.
And because Sony isn't there, we have We have nothing really to compare it to,
Now-
other than the other crap people.
I will say, in fairness to Microsoft,
But they did have good announcements.
in fairness to Microsoft, going first puts you at a disadvantage to the guy that gets to watch your show and see where you fall down and stuff. Like the guys at Sony who watch Microsoft's show and then go, this lost viewership, this didn't get the interaction they wanted. We'll do, you get to tailor your presentation just a little bit. That is a bit of an advantage. However, they also put on, in my opinion, so far better shows.
Yeah.
We haven't actually, even the Xbox stuff, they didn't actually show us all that much. Even Halo, we didn't really see gameplay.
Yeah.
As excited as I am and as many as excuses I can make for it, which I have been doing, and I admit they're excuses, and that I'm choosing to believe in a reality where the fact there's no release date, the fact that we didn't see campaign gameplay doesn't matter. I'm choosing that it will all be fine. Because I believe in the Master Chief. He can save us all.
There you go. You can save us all, Master Chief.
But I do think the Sony event, if it happens, will be better.
Yeah.
It's just the track record. And also they have stuff that we want to see. All they have to do, unfortunately, to beat the Xbox event is show us a CG trailer for God of War.
Because that's all that's been shown so far, right?
But then they win. They beat it. That's unfortunate for Xbox. But I am suddenly getting a bit more hopeful that Xbox are going to start bringing out more stuff and more meaty things. Not just a bunch of shit, but like stuff that you actually would want to play and pay $70 for.
And the thing is as well is that now, like previously we've all been saying, there's the term a Game Pass game, which literally just means something you wouldn't want to pay for, but if it's there, I'll chuck in 20 minutes into this game. And
they're Steam bundle deals, isn't it?
That's starting to, with these new games, when they come to Game Pass, then Game Pass won't be, it's just filled with 6s and 7s out of 10s. It's going to be, okay, we might actually have some decent stuff
There's some stuff here, yeah.
And that's when I really think Game Pass is going to start to find its true value.
I do worry, though, that because we're of the opinion that Game Pass makes no money.
It does.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a fact.
I mean,
fact.
It's confirmed that they need 50 million, I want to say, and they're at 28.
23.
23
was the last number. They're probably grown by then.
Okay, yeah. So it's losing money until 50, which that number will probably still grow as well as more people get on it and stuff. But fine. I suspect that the games that come on there, they're going to start pushing for games with a lot of microtransactions to start making some money. It's a bit of a concern of mine. I don't see how you can make, say, a God of War and allow people to play it without buying it. Well,
that's the thing. That's the reason why it works. So people are like, PlayStation haven't come up with a service like this is because PlayStation can't come up with a service like that because it's Microsoft losing money all the time on this service.
Yeah.
And Microsoft is Microsoft. They have all this money to lose so they can see if this idea will work. If it doesn't, then they can say, all right, we'll close it and whatnot. But PlayStation don't have that money to make that gamble. They have to make a smart decision and make a service that has got profitability built into it so they know they can make their money back. Xbox don't have to.
And they also, the reward is for what you pay, do you get high quality?
Yeah.
Right, whereas with Xbox, there are some high quality things, don't get me wrong, but you're getting a large number of games as opposed to high quality games, generally speaking. So that's your trade-off. I really want the discussion in this generation to change to, what are you playing on the Xbox? Oh my God, yeah, and to get away from the discussion about Game Pass and PS Plus collection stuff and just this new title, incredible. Halo Infinite, oh my God, it's amazing. The online things coming into Season 3, are you getting it or are you getting the game? I want that to be a thing. Fable's coming out. Oh, did you hear there's a Fable DLC? Yeah. Rare's making Banjo-Tooie. I want to hear that. I want the discussion to change that way because I don't want to be a Sony pony. I want to be a gamer and I want to go where the best games are. I
want them to be surrounding me all the time.
Absolutely.
Super Daniel writes in, he goes, I just saw what happened on Twitter, and this is referencing when I said I said it was a bad event, the Xbox event, because it was all the Xbox exclusive games, the one made by Xbox, were mostly CG trailers, and I didn't like that. I wanted to see something that was representative of what I'm going to play, not just whatever someone's...
I agree with you, by the way.
In their 3D program somewhere.
I agree with you. I just want to quickly give you a little benefit here.
People started to get really stupid on me and say some stupid stuff.
Because they were saying, they showed lots of stuff. you didn't say they didn't show anything. You
Yeah.
said the Xbox exclusive games only showed CG trailers, no gameplay, and that's a problem. And you're 100% right. So these guys can get fricked.
Yep. And one person as well, I made a joke about Death Stranding, like not knowing anything
Oh
about
god,
it.
I saw this.
And I was like...
you don't know Death Stranding 2 could be a fucking an RTS. You have no idea.
Anyway, I forget. Anyway, Super, I saw just what happened on Twitter between you and all the people that the event said in the event, and I have to say that you're 100% correct. This was pretty mediocre. Xbox only showed CG trailers for all of them games, and based off of their track record and the fact that they're going to be on Game Pass, they're probably going to be around 4 to 7 out of 10. We don't know that yet, but a lot of the Game Pass games have been low in Metacritic scores.
Game Pass games, innit?
Yeah, but yeah, you're a fanboy. But don't worry about it.
Yeah, fanboy.
In that range, when you check replies in your tweet, I noticed that everyone was saying that you're biased and not pointing out why the event was great. That's genuinely the thing that pissed me off. They're like, Eddie, your fanboyism is showing here, and I'm like,
well, prove me wrong.
Why though? Like, what is your counterpoint? No one will come up with a counterpoint. And
you're just a fanboy. Yeah, but prove me wrong. What was good about it? Prove me wrong.
It's one of those things where, like, anyway, it's just so dumb.
When people have nothing to say, they attack you, innit?
Exactly. Yeah. The thing is, and that's why I'm just going to call everybody a fanboy for any time they mention a video game.
Fanboy.
You bought a Call of Duty game. Fanboy. Anyway, the thing is, the reason why I don't like the event was because Microsoft haven't showed me anything over the Xbox One generation. The entire Xbox One generation was pretty lackluster.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go as far as to say there was nothing on the Xbox One generation of consequence.
I feel like...
It might be a bold statement.
Benefit of the doubt. I feel like Medium tried.
Oh, that's the Xbox Series X. Xbox One I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, because it went across both generations, didn't it? And it came out for both. No, you know what? You're right. You're right.
I don't think there was anything of consequence in that whole generation.
No, I think you're right.
There may be some good games that you enjoy, but I don't think there was anything that ever changed the tide or ever made anyone turn their head or anything like that.
Not even close.
Anyway,
unless I don't...
Which make me believe these games will be good, unlike Sony, which time and time again put out high quality games.
Yeah.
Like there was replies saying that I'm a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, you're saying to me, for being hyped for God of War Ragnarok or Horizon Forbidden West, whilst shitting on Starfield reveal. I was shocked that people were comparing seeing God of War 2 and Horizon 2, which are both sequels to amazing games, and we know roughly where they'll be, how they'll play, and the chances of God of War 5 being an amazing game are almost 100% compared to Starfield, which is made by Bethesda, the same studio that shit out... that's been shit for almost a decade and made Fallout 76. Sorry, but we need to see more. We need to see more to convince me that Starfield will actually be good, and this is why I find this event failed me. Also, Starfield was announced 3 years ago, and we've only seen a short trailer. We're justified not to be satisfied.
Yeah, it's a Cyberpunk situation all over again. Here's the thing: they actually made me angry. That someone said to you about, well, you don't know what the Death Stranding or whatever 2 would look like. You don't know what Horizon's gonna. You don't know what God of War's gonna look like. Same with Starfield. No, it's a sequel. The prior to it established the gameplay mechanics, the way it's gonna look. We don't know the story, but I know what the game's gonna be.
Yeah.
Also, Forbidden West wasn't just a CG trailer. In that 15 minutes, that was all gameplay. It included some in-game pre-rendered scenes, but of the 15 minutes, it was like 9 minutes of gameplay.
The argument some people were trying to say was like, while they were saying all of that stuff, and like you haven't seen anything of God of War, and I'm like, granted, and as you said, like it's a sequel, we know what the company's like, we know stuff, and they're like, I made the stupid thing of saying I know Sony Santa Monica along with all my other arguments, and they were like, you know what people like Bethesda and the types of games that they make. And I was like Dan is saying here, they haven't made a good game of even quality within the last decade.
Right.
So you have to assume that they're going to make another thing that's terrible in quality.
Yeah, based on the track record.
For that?
Based on the recent track record, Guerrilla makes bangers.
Yeah.
Insomniac makes bangers. Sucker Punch makes bangers. Like Santa Monica makes bangers.
Anyway.
Can they come up with something bad? Yes. Have they recently? No. What the current track record says, they make good stuff. BioWare, they made the Mass Effect franchise, one of the best series of games ever made. One of the best. In the last 10 years, though, the last thing they made, by the way, in that same universe, was Anthem.
Terrible.
Literally broke people's consoles. It bricked them. So, if I hear that BioWare's bringing out something new, I don't have to be like, oh, well, they made Mass Effect so they could do this.
That's true. A brand new IP from BioWare is still going to raise your eyebrows, and you're going to be like, I'm not excited yet until I see what the hell
I need
it
to
is.
see more about it. I need to hear that they've learned their lesson from Anthem.
Yeah.
Right?
Juice also writes in, I think it's going to be the last one. He says, I think the Xbox event was the best one.
Yeah.
Not incredible, but I had a decent amount of stuff. Outer Worlds 2, he writes in like exclamation marks.
Yeah.
The trailer for it was great. The humor was on point, and the end reveal was pretty epic.
Not Tina's Wonder, what's it?
Come on now. I'm also pretty excited for Far Cry 6. Terrible. It's just terrible. And Starfield.
Yeah.
Also, I'm really excited for the Guardians of the Galaxy game. You are one of the few people that I've heard say that.
I want you to know that I do genuinely hope, as much as this first bit hurts, that Far Cry 6 is good. And I do genuinely hope that Guardians of the Galaxy game is good.
Yeah.
But I do feel like Far Cry 6, while I actually was invested in that trailer, has vindicated us in saying that you be shit.
Yeah.
Not just as a company, but as a game developer.
That wasn't good looking at all.
That was trash.
Yeah.
That was trash. It looks worse than games that are 5 years younger than it.
It somehow looks worse than Valhalla.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that. Anyway, you think they would share some like assets and like maybe share some technologies, and the focus on the choice of having changing relationships with different characters makes it look a bit like a Telltale game. Just with the actual gameplay and combat, I also like the focus. Sorry?
It reminded me of Mass Effect.
Yeah, I said that when I was streaming. I also like the focus on Star-Lord as the main character, and the tone and the humor of the trailer seem to be about right. Oh, and Stalker 2 looked pretty good. Never played through the first one. Might check it out. Apparently, the Stalker 1's quite janky, but apparently it's still worth it. I've been told. So
I heard people saying that it was really good.
Yeah.
I will say on the Guardians of the Galaxy game, the one thing that you said that I don't think we can say for sure is that I don't feel like you're making any of those choices, like you're developing any of the storylines, because you didn't seem to get any dialogue options, and that seemed very janky. There's a scene where Drax throws rocket across the thing, and then they argue.
The trailer that we watched, they cut that. There was actually a choice, so they cut that bit out from the trailer that we watched.
Now I'm more excited.
In the extended thing, it was a bit more, and you got to see it. Yeah.
Right. So that's something that I want, because it seemed like just a very static, kind of boring dialogue scene where you didn't have any options. If you get to change the relationships and cause issues or solve them,
just break everybody up. Like, I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah, maybe, exactly. Like that's something you should be able to do. Like in Mass Effect, you can get everybody killed, or you can make everybody survive. It's down to how you play the game, right?
We'll see.
So I want that to be the case, because that suddenly makes this game probably 2 out of 10 higher up in my estimation. I put it at maybe a 6, but if I can get those sorts of choices, I'll put it at an 8.
I did want to read out one more. This is Cass. Sorry, I wanted to get a positive Xbox showcase comment in here just to even things out. Personally, as I said on Twitter, I think the Xbox showcase was perfectly balanced. This is from Cass, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Around 30 to 33 games were shown, 5 of which were CG trailers. The rest we saw were gameplay in full proper demos. Forza Horizon or gameplays in trailers. Battlefield 2042, which oh my god, that looks amazing. Battlefield does look amazing. Personally, I would say my favorite has been the Day of the Devs conference a few days back. It was filled with amazing indie titles, but one in particular that stuck out to me, and most people watching, was a game called Death's Door. Got to check that out. Death's Door.
I must have missed that.
It looks brilliant. I think you guys will definitely love it. So personally, my 2 favorite things shown were Death's Door, Battlefield 2042. Although Forza looks really great, Redfall looked really cool, but also it was a CG trailer. Even though knowing that what Arcane does, and even Arcane Austin, the Prey developers, I have an idea of what the game will look like, and I'm pretty hyped for it. Thanks very much for writing in there, Cass.
Yep.
Bro,
Yes.
shall we kick it over to topic number 2, like an hour and a bit into
let's do it.
this episode? Abandoned.
Yes.
Do you remember this game, Abandoned?
Yeah, it rings a bell.
All we've got is a trailer so far.
Yeah.
And it... Oh, okay, so it was like a horror.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All we saw was like a guy holding a gun in the woods.
Yep.
That was all we saw.
Yep.
Is this game a secret Hideo Kojima Silent Hill game?
I saw this going around on Twitter, and to the point where people were coming up with all these connections about how in the Death Stranding Director's Cut Edition, they had a Netherlands flag on the guy's back, and the company that supposedly registered this thing is based in the Netherlands. And when they tweeted, it would have been 10 a.m. in Japan, which is exactly when he was speaking, and all this shit.
Let me break it down. Let me break it down for you guys.
Yeah.
So I just want to say straight away, I didn't know and I didn't care.
Yeah.
But until I read the information, I am now 100% on the conspiracy theory that Hideo Kojima is making a Silent Hill game, and that's what this is.
We are the whales, basically.
We are the whales, guys.
Right.
We're bringing it back. This is a Hideo Kojima game. So when the game first came out, it was a horror game, and it was made by a really tiny developer, never heard before, and their record was very spotty. Like, there was barely anything there. They made one game before.
Right.
And people were like, PlayStation just partnered with this no-name people
Right.
to make an exclusive game, and it looked good in the thing, in the the teaser. And we're like,
yeah, something smells fishy, yeah.
but they came out and they were like, we have absolutely no connection to Hideo Kojima. This isn't a Silent Hill game. There's nothing like that. And we thought, pretty conclusive there. You can't really, they didn't say it in a way where we're like, but.
Right. Like, we're not working with Hideo Kojima on a Silent Hill game. It's, like leaving room for it. It's not Silent Hill, but they are working with him. They said, we are not working with Kojima on anything.
So we let them off the hook.
Yeah.
We were like, cool, no problem.
Fine.
And then the other day they tweet out and they go, guess the name. Abandoned equals first letter S and last letter L. Revealing closing in, PS5 exclusive. And immediately everyone was like, Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Everyone in the comment section, they're like, okay. And this triggered everybody to go, all right, we're going full on detective mode now. We're digging up corpses. We're exonerating bodies,
I believe,
so we can find the details of this.
I believe
game.
they went and found an old record of one of the website's background pictures, and it was just like an empty foresty hill thing, and they're like, that's Silent Hill.
We got a hill.
Right.
It's fog. It's Silent Hill, clearly.
Right.
So after they did that, they posted again and they said, we want to set things straight. We do not have, so we have no relations with Konami. Silent Hill is owned by Konami. We do not have any relations with Hideo Kojima. It was never our intention to tease the name Silent Hill. We sincerely apologize for this. However, people seem to think that means the company, Blue Box Game Studios, are the ones that are not associated with Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And not associated with Hideo Kojima.
Right.
However, that's a fake name, and it's
that company has that's the website that they went to. It's not functioning. Any functioning company will have a website because it's one of the ways you get business and business inquiries and stuff.
It's like me saying my name is John Stewart, and John Stewart has no association with SHEPS over here. Eddie does, but not John
Stewart. Yeah,
that's what people are thinking.
Right.
Let me read out a few of the things, because there's a website that I got here that sort of compiled all of the evidence, if you will, of everything going on here. So the studio's name is called...
There's one thing, because I just remembered that I cut you off. Their name, Blue Box, has one employee.
Yes.
And all we know is their initials are H and K.
That's one of the things.
How weird that. Do you know what? I'm in.
Let me
tell me the conspiracy, bruvs.
Let me get into this.
Yeah.
So, the name of the studio is Blue Box Studios, right? And the name on their Twitter is BB Game Studios.
Yes.
BB.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
Exhibit A. And that's all, Your Honor. Their logo, as you can see right here, and I'll try and put a thing in there for us to remember that. is a white background,
Yeah.
a black box, and it says Blue Box inside, Game Studios
But
underneath.
it's a black box. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
If you completely invert the colors,
Yeah.
it looks almost like the PlayStation Studios logo.
Thin, but Thin's my middle name.
Right? There we go,
Okay.
right there. In the Death Stranding 2 director's cut trailer,
Yes.
the one that didn't make any goddamn sense whatsoever.
Even with this, it still makes no goddamn sense, but please continue.
Norman Regis
Yes.
is wearing a blue suit.
Yes.
He gets inside a box.
He does.
And he
Blue box!
Blue box.
Yep.
And as you said, he has a Netherlands flag
He does, yeah.
on his shoulder. The Netherlands, the studio, Blue Box Studio, is registered in Netherlands.
Yep.
As you said, only has one employee.
And their initials are H and K.
Let me just see if I can find out. He's a Turkish employee called Hasan Karaman,
Yep.
H&K. Another thing, if you take Kahraman
Yeah.
and you put it into into Google Translate into Japanese and then translate it back to English,
Yeah.
you're not going to believe this.
Go on.
Let me just double check the name. Hideo.
There's no way. No, there's no way. Hold on. Hold on a minute.
Do Turkish to Japanese.
Okay. We're fact checking this one right now because that I want. Okay, so we want Turkish to Japanese.
Sorry, I've got it for you here.
Okay, so I want to do it. So Japanese. Okay,
Turkish
so I need
to Japanese.
So I need to in Turkish. What is it?
Karaman. Kahraman.
Okay, right.
Which is actually a common Turkish name, by the way. I'll have you know.
Okay, cool.
To Japanese.
Right. So that's that. Yeah. And now I take the Japanese and switch that to English. Yeah. Where's E? Where's E? The frickin' mic's in my way. English. Okay.
Actually, how is it coming up in English here? Strange, isn't it?
Okay, so I'm gonna go. Now I'm gonna go Japanese to English, right? Because I copied.
What's
Japanese
the symbol it shows? Because it's got a symbol here.
So hold on, I'll show you. I copied it. Nah,
that's not Japanese, I don't think.
that's what it comes up with.
Well, Japanese is symbols like that, so I don't know how you got that.
Oh, you okay? I can try that. It didn't do that for me.
Anyway, that's what I've got Google Translate here.
False.
I've got Google Translate here, and that's what that comes up to
cool.
there.
Well, now do the other bit. Take the Japanese and put it into English.
It's in English now. Anyway.
Okay, cool.
Anyway.
All right. I really genuinely believe that the people that are Hideo Kojima fans are aging out to the point where a scary enough game could kill them.
That's a good
And
point.
I'm not joking. Someone could be, if you're a Silent Hill fan, you could probably be anywhere in the 20 to 45 plus range. At 45, if you haven't really taken care of yourself, you could be in an at-risk group.
That's
and if
true.
you die, that game will sell off the shelves. Knowing they actually killed somebody, it will be like a real ring.
Yeah.
So
I've got some more information here. The only previous game that's connected to Blue Box Game Studio is a Steam Early Access title called The Haunting Bloodwater Curse. A game that's inspired by Fatal Frame, a classic Japanese horror franchise inspired by them. Are you sensing a little bit of a pattern here?
Yeah. Let me guess. If you take The Haunting, Blood, Water, whatever, translate it into Japanese, then back into Turkish, and then into Mongolian, it comes out as Hideo Kojima is making Silent Hill.
That's correct. Another company that's almost... they've got no... The game has been there since... and has been pushed out by a company called Create Q Interactive, but another company that basically has no online footprint.
Right.
Very suspicious. Blue Box Game Studios has also got a game called The Whisperer for Android, which now can't be found anywhere.
Right.
And its icon is a black handprint.
Yeah.
Remind anybody of Death Stranding right here? Also, they have another game called Tales of Six Swords, an early access Android game. Again, another game that cannot be found. And has only ever had 5 downloads as well.
Okay. 5, the number of employees that Kojima you said he needed to make it. Yeah, right.
Okay, here we are. So there's okay, now to really blow your mind, this article says right here, Hassan Kahraman does have an Apple App Store profile up there somewhere with a bunch of low quality asset flip games under his belt. The only app that's not a game is called GoFit XL, which fits under the health and fitness category. This app has the description of this app has a 1 point. All it says is personal training, PT.
Thin, but thin's my middle name.
Exactly.
See, this is real games journalism.
They're going hard, right?
This is real games journalism.
Supposedly, the company, based in the Netherlands, Blue Box Game Studios, appears to have been founded in 2015, exactly 1 year after the release of PT.
Yeah, to the day, right?
Yeah. And around the time that Kojima was going through the breakup of Konami, this is all just part of the puzzles they're putting together.
But like one thing,
the strings being brought together.
This is going to sound maybe a bit sus.
Yeah.
But why come up with a Turkish developer who lives in the Netherlands? You know what I mean? That's the bit that makes it someone like a Japanese guy is not going to naturally think, oh, I need an alter identity. Turkish.
I think it's because of that name, that translation. I think he chucked it into Google Translate, went back and forth a couple of times with the different languages and stuff like that, and then was like, got it.
Yeah, I guess. All right, okay.
Anyway, there's a couple of things like that, and I think the fact that it's such a new studio, the fact that there's no way to contact them. There's no way to contact them as well.
They don't have a functioning website. That's sus.
There's no like job section, no PR section. It's just
contact me. Yeah.
There's the name of the studio, BB Game Studio on Twitter. The fact that I feel like they tweeted out, they were like, okay, we've got no connection to Hideo Kojima, and everyone dropped it, and they were like, we didn't expect anyone to drop it that quickly. Right. How can we tease it to get it going again?
Yeah.
And then they did the second thing. They're like, by the way, guys, remember, we're not in any way related to Silent Hill or Konami.
Yeah, we're making this game.
Kojima.
It starts with S and ends in L. No, sorry. We're not making Silent Hill. Capcom owns it, and they own that. And we're not doing it. We have no affiliation with Capcom. We didn't mean to do
Konami.
That's what I said. Square Enix. Square Enix owns Silent Hill.
No need to correct us on that one, Sean.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're doing the correct combos section
now. Also, they did come up with an update recently saying like how the it's funny because on this article, I'm reading it from PlayStation Lifestyle. It says here, the studio posted an odd list of features for Silent Hill and then crosses it out and then writes abandoned.
That's very good.
And it includes one rather odd entry. Next-gen graphics, 4K 60 FPS, no HUD and a manual ammo check system and taking care of wounds. Quite realistic.
That sounds like a very horror-based game, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Realistic cinematic survival and snowflakes of blood.
Okay.
When you're talking about the technical stuff, why add that? And the reason for that...
Because that's just red snowflakes, isn't it?
And we think the reason for that, a Twitter user by the name of Next Gen Player, you guys should go follow him, he's quite a cool guy.
Yeah.
He was able to link a 10-second teaser trailer posted to the PlayStation EU YouTube channel back in 2014.
Yeah.
And it is just a 10-second trailer of... And I'll put it down here.
Yeah, let's see this. Okay. And that's on the official PlayStation Europe. Okay, that's something there. Fair enough. That's something because now that's something we've got. Okay, there's suddenly a connection that I think is real there. Okay, yeah.
I will say one thing. There was a game that came out after that trailer.
Yeah.
Not saying it's linked. We don't know. But Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Was a horror murder game, and it was in like a snowy environment. Yeah. It could have been a tease for that.
Don't care. Good enough for me for a conspiracy theory.
However, all those puzzle pieces have led me to believe that this is going to be a Hideo Kojima game. I am not backing down from this. Hassan Kahraman, you don't fool me, Hideo.
Mate, let's find his LinkedIn. If he's a game dev, he'll have a LinkedIn.
I think actually he does have a LinkedIn, but it's, again...
Let's check this shit out.
Stupidly
It's bare. It's bare,
Stupidly bare. Like, nothing on there.
Well, let's go to it.
As well, oddly, he has a PlayStation profile, Hassan Kahraman.
Yeah.
And he has a...
When was it created?
I'm not sure exactly. I don't know where they found out, but they have like a specific number of trophies, which links to something.
They're all Hideo Kojima games.
He has 1,238 trophies, which is the same number of Silent Hill 4 Japanese commercials.
The thing is, I don't think Hideo Kojima is going to be like, let me take the number of Japanese commercials in Silent Hill 4 and then pay somebody, because there's no way he's doing it, to get this exact number of trophies. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. But anyway, despite having zero presence anywhere else, the guy somehow has a verified PSN account. To have a verified PSN account, you have to be someone notable. You have to have some sort of, like, I'm a person, I'm a particular influencer, whatever it might be. For someone who's got nothing on their LinkedIn, for someone who's a single employee of a single studio that has no track record or nothing like that, how do you become verified on PSN?
We are more likely to get verified than Hassan Kahraman, right?
But somehow he is. Also, curiously, he's got one game on there that he's played 1 hour of.
Yeah.
It's a game that no one else can access, no one else has. And it's called Demon Blood. It doesn't seem to exist anywhere. There's no details of like who the developer is or anything like that.
What?
But there's this game that he's played 2 months ago, total of 1 hour, Demon Blood. There's a lot of weird things going on.
I feel like if something raises enough questions, that is an answer in and of itself. So, sold.
Yeah.
Sold. Not because I buy any of this stuff, but there are enough things that raise enough questions that is the answer that I'm looking for, which is there's something sus going on here.
It says here as well that his PSN account links to a YouTube channel called 20, written out in words, 27, but then also 27 in numbers after that. And also Silent Hill was confirmed to be cancelled on April 27th.
See, things like that I think are thin.
That's the thing. If someone said to me, "Oh, it links to that," and then it was cancelled on the 27th, I'm like,
thin. But the whole like his name translates to Hideo somehow, and
it's an overwhelming force of little nuggets.
Also, the best thing is it's all going to pan out to be bullshit.
This is the thing. I was saying on Twitter, and Josh Anderson messaged me back and was like, if this turns out to be bullshit, if this turns out to be complete and utter crap, I will have to go to every single like religious ceremony ever, because that proves the existence of God. Because no way can you have random accidents like that. There's a higher power that has pushed all these things together to make all of these coincidences.
Who wrote this article? Because they're a real games journalist. Even if it's wrong, by the way, that's real games journalism.
They've gone investigating, right? This person's Chandler Wood of PlayStation Lifestyle. Congratulations.
Well done.
Doing a good job right there. Anyway, so we're getting a Silent Hill game soon, confirmed 2022.
Confirmed.
That's right there.
Coming 2022, confirmed. 3D audio, it's going to be VR as well.
Yes, it's going to make you shit your pants straight away.
I'm serious. If he ever gets to make PT, someone will die and the game will fly off the shelves.
Yeah.
If it's banned, it will be even worse. The game, he will shit money until he dies. You know, like it will be a case of
people.
It will be a case of there's no point putting the money in the bank. Let me bury it in oil barrels, like what's his face? You know, like
Breaking Bad.
like it'll be that much money. So, look, so much of that is so thin, but because there's so much of it, I'm willing to go for it. Like, frick it. I believe some silly conspiracy theories. What's one more to the list?
Add one more to the list,
lads.
Frick it.
That's funny. That is funny.
It is good, right? Our next topic. Cyberpunk 2077, after not being on the PSN store, after 6 months, is coming back on the 21st of June.
That's right.
2021. How do you feel about that?
as long as, and I think there'll be a bunch of people that troll them that buy the game and then return it. As long as they don't mess with, because that in my opinion was the biggest sin they committed, not just bringing out a game that wasn't everything it was cracked up to be and didn't work and all this stuff and had millions of bugs, but that they said, yeah, you can get a refund anytime you want, knowing full well it wasn't them doing the refunds and that PlayStation would have to handle it, and PlayStation doesn't work that way, and saying, hey, it's not us not refunding it, it's the PS store, right? Get fucked.
Those scummy shit.
Yeah, that's scum. I would suspect that Sony will say, in your one case, it comes out of your end. Like, we're gonna make a through pipe just for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna receive the monies. We're gonna take a cut of it. If you have to refund, you refund that sans the cut. We're not getting that back. It's on you. And if it works well for the first 3 months, we will put it back on as a regular PS thing, and it will work the normal way. So because Sony's not stupid, and I would say that's kind of a black swan event. It's like a 1 in a million. There was no way Sony could ever have thought that would have happened.
Yeah, well, they gave them the professional courtesy.
Well,
they
CDPR, the guys that made The Witcher, there's no way.
You're not going to screw us, and we're not going to screw you. In the end, we're going to put you on our store. We've made this platform for you to sell your game on. And then they turn around and pull that on them. It's like,
right.
Fucking... You think you're above it?
Ridiculous.
Shit, man.
I will be genuinely interested to see. I think we'll have to find the data averaged out after like 3 to 6 months, because I do think the first month or more is going to be people trying to mess with them.
Yeah.
Of like, buy the game, return it. Buy the game, rate it 1 star, return it. That kind of thing. So we need to see after like that's died down. The game is going to end up working. Like, Skyrim came out trash. It didn't work very well, and it ended up being a really good game. I do think Cyberpunk will end up being a functioning game by the end of the year. On its 1 year anniversary, it will probably be a functioning game. I think it's weak in the areas that it needed to be strong, like story stuff. But it seems to have a really good presence on, like, PC. It's still the top 10 NPD.
But do you still think it'll be good on PlayStation 4? Because that's the only thing.
I didn't think about that. No,
it's a PlayStation 4 game. That's what it is.
Do you know what? I completely forgot about that. No. I think no matter what, it will still not run. I wouldn't be surprised if CDPR don't make a statement where they're like, it's coming back to the PlayStation Store, but it's still, despite all of our stability improvements and stuff, it may not work as well on the Xbox and PlayStation 4.
PlayStation executive came out to also announce that the Cyberpunk is coming back to the PSN store, and says users will continue to experience performance issues with the PlayStation 4 edition while CDPR continues to improve stability across the platform. SIE recommends playing the title on PS4 Pro or PS5 only.
Yeah.
That's them basically just saying this game is shit on PS4.
I mean, if anyone's got access to
not buy it. PlayStation never come out to talk about someone else's game. Never in the history of everness has this ever happened.
Well, that's because they got CDPR tried to burn their house down instead of taking the flak.
I wonder if they actually told them they were going to say that along with releasing the game, or if they just did it, or if they said, or if they made it a demand. They're like, okay, you can come onto the PlayStation Store. We're going to make a statement to say for people not to buy it on PS4.
Yeah,
because that's a huge statement to make. That's a huge statement to make. Granted, not many people are going to see that message.
True.
But
if it's been made by the top brass, they can say, look, we made this message publicly. And I bet CDPR don't really mind that much, because they'd rather have people get it on the PS4 Pro or PS5, because then it will have a better experience and people will speak more favourably about it.
Well, let me tell you my feeling about this. I think this is ridiculous.
Yep.
I don't think this game should come out for PS4. We said this
months
and years leading up to this game that it shouldn't have come out on PS4. And when it came out and it didn't work, it should have been proof that everyone said to you, not even just us, everyone said it to you, should have been proof that this game should not have come out on PS4.
We tried to say.
You should have just waited for the next gen update and said, look, we've been trying really hard behind the scenes. You didn't even have to try really hard. You could just tell people you did and go, we're not selling it on that console. granted, I understand you want to make money, and that was the business decision that you made, but it was a terrible creative decision. And look what happened to your company's name now because of it.
You would have made more money, or at least not lost anywhere near as much, by saying this game is really ambitious and we just cannot get it to run appropriately on the PS4 and Xbox Series, whatever the frick it was. It's only coming to PC, PS5 and Series X.
Yep.
You know, because we can't get it to run right, and we'd rather have less of you play it and enjoy it than anyone play it and not be the game that, you know, and it not be able to run all that stuff. A lie.
Yeah.
But you would not have been damaged, you know, and people would have not liked it, but they would have respected your like creative integrity and all that stuff. Yeah. And like, it is ridiculous. And what's more ridiculous is that they tried to throw Sony under the bus. That blows my mind. Right. The cojones on these guys. Yeah, I mean, whatever, man. I've got the game. It's a weird one because while I played it, I enjoyed it. I never hated it. I did have bugs. The worst thing was stability. You know, it would close the game and stuff. That sucked, but it auto-saved enough that I was never lost huge amounts of progress. I somewhat enjoyed it. I never had a bad experience playing it, really. But by the end of it, I didn't love the game, and I found it really easy to put down, and that is my most damning thing. Despite everything else, it was really easy to put down, and I cannot say that of... What's that? Control. I found really hard to put down.
Yeah.
I had to know what was going on, and I didn't have any investment in the character. Same with V. Don't care about V. Don't really care about Jessie, the girl from Control. Yeah, don't care. But I needed to know more about Control, more about the world, more about the oldest house. Didn't have that at all with Cyberpunk, and it's a world that I should love because it's exactly the sort of thing I like. I found it really hard to put down Ratchet Clank. I'm being called back to Ratchet Clank every time I walk past my PS5.
But not with this game.
No, Cyberpunk was just easy to put down. That's the most damning thing I can say about it. But I really would say to anybody that thinks that, you know, maybe you skipped it and thought I'll get it when everything's patched. I still wouldn't get it. If you're on a base PS4 or a base Xbox, whatever the frick it was, just don't do it.
Nah.
Wait until you get either a PS4 Pro or a PS5 or a PC to play it, because
it's just going to ruin your time.
Yeah, it's a waste of time, and I'm really conscious of, you know, how we recommend you spend your time. If you're going to spend hours of your life on a thing based on our recommendations, it cannot be Cyberpunk on a base console. And even then, even if you're on a PS5, I'd say get Ratchet and Clank.
Hurts to say that.
I wanted Cyberpunk to be the thing, but get Ratchet and Clank.
What are we gonna do? One other thing that's CDPR related. CDPR announced WitcherCon. Yeah. WitcherCon is a thing that's happening on the 9th of July, where they're going to be hosting an annual event where you can celebrate everything Witcher related. It's like, I bet there was something coming in the works, and they were going to be like CDPR Con or
CyberCon.
Yeah, something like that, or it was going to be something CDPR related. But they were like, let's make it Witcher. Witcher's better.
It sounds like they're pivoting back to Witcher. I think it's a mistake, by the way. I think to maintain your integrity, they should have really worked hard and taken even more of a loss on Cyberpunk, making it work, giving great DLC, and make Cyberpunk 2 and make that incredible.
That's what they're planning to go for.
By the sounds of it, if they're doing WitchCon...
Oh, sorry, Cyberpunk 2, you mean? Sorry,
what did I say?
You said Cyberpunk 2, okay. But I was saying I was thinking continuing Cyberpunk.
Oh, okay, right. But sounds like they're switching back to The Witcher. The only problem is their directive lead is gone.
Yeah.
After 12 years at the company. A bunch of other people who were really pivotal and important in things like story development, quest development, all the things that made The Witcher so great. So now if you're going to cyberpunk The Witcher, you're dead. Like, if you bring out a Witch game and it does anything like what Cyberpunk did, the company's gone forever. That's worse than anything Bethesda or BioWare's ever done, you know?
It's going to be really, really crazy.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. If CDPR now come out with a brand new IP, You got CDPR, the guys that made The Witcher back in the day. Like, it's going to be great, regardless of whether or not we just got a title. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Let's say we put Starfield on a CDPR game.
Yeah.
Start CDPR making Starfield. Can we get excited for that now? Or do we? Oh, I'm worried.
I can't.
Exactly.
If you attach The Witcher to it, I'm really quite scared because I love The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, CDPR, I know you're listening. There'll be a high price tag, but we will come on and help you with the story. I've already made my pitch. It's the Vesemir game.
Yes.
You will meet Geralt, but as a child and at the very end.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
And we will see the mutant process in great detail.
Oh yeah, all the children dying, of
Yes.
course. I mean, that'll be the if you get the best ending, you get to watch that happen. Right?
What's worse than that? Oh god.
Oh yeah, that's how we're doing it, baby.
Oh boy. The next thing. Some good news.
Oh yeah, good.
Soon you will be able to play Xbox Series X games on your Xbox One via xCloud. So they're making a system where if you have an Xbox One, you can have get an xCloud subscription. You can play current gen games on your previous gen console, which I think is a really cool thing. It goes against the way things are done normally, because normally you're trying to sell consoles as well as games as well as services and whatnot. But Microsoft can't sell consoles, so they have to stick with whatever they've been bought already.
Right.
And this is they've done a couple of things, like selling to PC at the same day that it comes out.
Yeah.
That doesn't help you sell units. This is also the same thing, but Microsoft are leaning towards services anyway.
Yeah.
And this is a cool thing, I think.
I think it's a good idea for Microsoft. I think it's terrible for Xbox.
Yeah, it's
So just to be clear, there's one
depends
more
on how
reason.
much it makes.
One more reason I don't need to buy a
That's
Series
exactly
X. Just so I'm clear, there is one more reason I don't need to buy a Series X. I can go out, get a pre-owned Xbox One, and doesn't even have to be the One X or Super Sad or whatever, the most powerful one, because it's using cloud processing to play current generation games on a 7-year-old piece of tech. So I don't need to get a Series X. Just to be clear. Cool.
And that's the funny joke that I made online. That this is the thing. I like to be funny, right? I don't know if I am always funny. That's always for you guys to update. But I made a funny joke about how 7-8 years later, after the Xbox One comes out, we're finally getting that cloud technology that they were talking about all those years ago. And people immediately were like, "Oh, it's playing a current gen console."
Fanboy. Fanboy.
It's a joke because that didn't happen.
Yeah, it's a joke.
And this is cloud and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a joke.
But I actually do like this right here, because it means that anybody can play any one of the Xbox games and not have to pay the high price tag of like $500 to get a console. It's actually a really cool move. It means that more and more people can have access to Xbox games. Is it going to pay off in the end? That's the question.
From everything it looks like they're doing, no. Game Pass doesn't make money. Won't make money until it more than doubles in size, and even then I suspect it won't make money. I think it's a bad deal for the devs. I think it's a bad deal for Microsoft. I think it's a bad deal for Xbox, and I think they need to pivot away from it. And I think this is one more thing that they're trying to do that's pro-consumer, because they're only focused about how many people are on their ecosphere and not how much they're making from it. And weirdly enough, if they worried more about providing a good product for a good return, not only would they make more money, they make better stuff, and the services would be better. You'd get better games and better consoles. But because they try to be pro-consumer in a corporate way, they end up making less money, taking a loss, and continually providing you less and less content, less and less quality, because they need to lower their cost basis to provide the service, which no one wants to use because there's nothing to play. It's a cascade of effects. Maybe.
My only problem with this is the problem that I pitched one time with Game Pass is like mentality with the casual audience, right? Because you need to have something that kind of captures the casual audience, otherwise you don't make as much money as you possibly could. The hardcore guys are going to fund you a lot, but if you really want to make a bang, you got to get into the casual market.
You need your Candy Crush mums.
Exactly. And that's why they're doing things like, I think xCloud is coming to TVs and stuff like that now. There's going to be like an app that you can just go on and play games, and that's great. But this is tough to explain to an ordinary person. You can play new games on your old system, which is an entirely foreign concept so far. We've never been able to do that before. new games on your old system through the internet. You just need to buy a subscription to this one service, and it's kind of like playing the game, but it's not like playing the game. But then also you have to buy each game through the xCloud, or you have to buy a subscription called Game Pass. There's so many steps that you can't explain that to a person.
There's so many
steps. That's the only issue I see.
And this is a pretty well documented thing, but they say for every step you need to take, you lose 90% of the people that you had.
Yeah.
So to go from, like, for example, we talk about our Patreon, right? Support us, patreon.com/conversations. 100 people hear it, maybe 10 people, let's say 100 people that are interested in supporting us hear it.
Yeah.
10 people click.
Yeah.
Then to get to a sign up, to like actually get your details in, one person clicks.
Yeah.
And we get one page. That's how that would work.
Yeah.
So this is far too many steps. Plus, what's the ad going to be like? Like Xbox, but don't have enough money for an Xbox Series X? Well, don't worry. You don't need one. Never fucking buy one. Because now you can play your Xbox Series X games on your Xbox One. So just get this other service and buy the games that you want, and never buy anything from us ever again.
A very long ad right there.
And by the way, this is how it works. You're going to need to sign up for this service. Then you're going to log in, but make sure it's linked to your Xbox One account. Yeah.
It's a cool idea for any one of the hardcores that want it.
We would do it.
But the hardcore people have the best console at the time.
Right.
Or they have another option, another way of playing it. And the hardcore people, crucially, we're not a fan of cloud gaming.
No, too much latency.
Exactly, at least in here and now. And people have data caps, and people have bandwidth issues, and they have families that jump on their internet streaming Netflix and stuff like that. That's the hardcore situation.
Yeah.
So you're only appealing to the casual market, and the casual market aren't going to understand it.
They're too casual to get on the service. Yeah,
I think this is more Microsoft putting down another leg for stability, right?
Yeah.
But it's more for show than anything else.
I like the idea of it.
People are looking at it and they're like, Microsoft have invented this other technology. And then it's another thing that they can talk about, because, recently they're saying, like, PlayStation is anti-consumer because they're charging people twice when they buy a game on PlayStation and then buying a game on PC.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
no, that's the way it works.
I was going to say it also comes at a different time and stuff like that. Right. And there are different accounts, like one's on Steam and stuff like that. Whereas because they've done the PC buy anywhere thing, I think this is another thing of them, just like they've got another service and another thing to put under their belt, another thing to say that we do this. And
if they're going to make that statement, I want Xbox to refund every single gamer tag that has games, the same game on multiple consoles, like a game on Xbox, on the original, and Xbox 2, and Xbox 360, and the Xbox One, and the Xbox Series X. You need to refund every single one of those games because you're making them buy it twice.
What was really bad about that as well is that they were like, flight simulators coming to Xbox Series X, and it's like they're going to charge people again for that when that comes out, because that was already on PC.
Of course they are.
That was another example that I've forgotten. But anyway, that was just... That's one of the things that I hate about Phil Spencer, is that I feel like he spends more time trying to talk shit rather than and trying to convince people that he's a gamer than actually do stuff. Everyone else seems to be completely fine. In that Xbox event, Pete Hines came up and whatnot, and he was like a genuinely nice guy. There's a bunch of PlayStation gamers. There's a handful of PlayStation gamers that are the worst of the worst. That are complaining that they're not getting to play Starfield because it's exclusive on Xbox.
What?
It's their game. They get to do whatever they want.
But you get God of War.
Exactly. You get everything you want over there, and Xbox can't complain about that.
Right.
So just forget about it. It's one of them things. But Pete Hines came out and he apologized to the PlayStation people who can't play it. Not because it's exclusive, but he goes, I'm apologizing because you guys feel like you've been robbed of something, even if it is unjustified. Just because he's a nice guy. Right. Just because he wants to be like, look, I'm sorry, it's just the way it is.
I'd like for you to be able to play it, and the way you can do that is by buying an Xbox.
Exactly. And there's people like that. And then
those guys are idiots. Frick them.
And then there's Phil Spencer comes out and he's like, gamer, gamers by gamers, and if you're a gamer, then we're gamers, and we love games as well. And then he's like, and then you see in an interview, he's like, well, PlayStation's not doing this, so PlayStation's not doing that. Whereas on the other side, you got people like Shuhei Yoshida, just every now and again, it's like, congratulations on the show, guys. Xbox show was great.
It's because they don't have to. We know one side's winning and it's very obvious, and the other side is trying to ruin the reputation. But it doesn't work. It's the only people that buy in.
They sound like politicians.
The only people that buy
campaigns.
The only people that buy in are the people that have already bought in. you know? So you're talking into an echo chamber. Because I will say, I do like the idea of trying something new. I like the idea of using the cloud processing and stuff, and that maybe in 15 years it becomes a really viable process, or a way in which that instead of having to have like 5 discs like we're getting to, unless we get something above like Ultra HD Blu-rays, because the data size is an issue, that you can add in the cloud processing like they said they were going to do, and it would make sense because they have the servers, they have the server tech, all the gamer tags are linked through the servers in a way that PSN network stuff isn't linked specifically to the servers because they use Microsoft servers anyway. There's lag issues. That it could end up being the basis for technology moving forward that is really good. Like the first car sucked, but cars today are freaking brilliant. Yeah. First computer. So you seen that picture of like 5 megabytes of RAM and it's getting transported on a plane? Yeah. It's a whole room's worth of computer, right? And 5 now, megabytes. Right. Or like your iPhone has like 10 times the computing capacity of NASA that sent people to the moon. Yeah. Like I think it could be the basis of a really useful tech and system and integration of multiple services within a game. Yeah. I don't think as a standalone function it's going to be ideal because, like you said, people have data caps. Not everybody's living alone with Google Fiber, and even those people, we don't want the ping to an additional server. But it could be something moving forward.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where it goes, but I think we're too rooted in the technology we have now and the way that we play games now, and it's too perfect to go and mess with.
Yeah, it works really well.
What ain't broken, don't fix.
It works really well. The only way to change what we're currently doing is to make a massive improvement that we didn't know need to be made. Yeah. Which, those exist. We've done it in gaming a bunch of times. God of War did the single take thing. Apex did the ping system. Yeah. Like, you didn't... Ghost of Tsushima did the wind and the looting, right? You didn't know you needed it until they did it this way. You're like, man, this is the way it should be done from now on. Yeah. I want that to be the case. And if this is one of those things, great. Because a better gaming experience is better for gamers. And I like good games and a good gaming experience. I don't think
games? What?
I tend not to mention it. I don't think this is it. But I would love to see some of these new things coming out from the Xbox side of stuff. Yeah. I'd love to see Sony having to poach Xbox ideas. Or buy some of Xbox licenses. That is a good thing. I want a strong Xbox game division, I want to say. Not like I think Xbox is almost indistinguishable from Microsoft, and they are really trying to mess with us. Sony will eventually, PlayStation will eventually, they'll overstep somewhere. So far they haven't. Yeah. But Xbox seems to just not care. They're going to try it, and when there's backlash, I'm sorry, we're not doing it, and then everybody forgets.
I have a couple of things I just want to bang out here. These are small stories.
Okay, bang it out.
PSVR headset.
Yeah.
According to an insider, is coming out 2022, holiday 2022.
Okay.
So we're getting close to that. I'm a big VR fan, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm expecting this one to be a bit more pricier than the last one. Not a lot more, but I imagine it's going to be around the $399 area.
If it delivers the jump from the PSVR 1 that the PS5 gave to the PS4, easily worth the extra hundo.
It's the way it's being like portrayed anyway. They're saying like it's like Samsung OLED screens, this thing foveated rendering where it renders where you're looking instead. It's going to have haptics inside the helmet, one cable. It sounds like a dream come true.
Do we have any idea if they're going to use that multi-finger controller with the haptic?
The controller they showed off, that one is definitely going to be inside it, and it's going to have haptics in there, and it's going to have like finger tracking inside it, so that's going to be so cool.
I'm willing for that alone. The extra $100's worth it.
So the upgrade from the Move wand to that, if there's that kind of jump with the headset, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be incredible.
Godfall,
is
no longer a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's now on PS4.
Thank God, PS4 gamers.
You got one there. You got one, lads. You wanted more.
Make
games
sure you flex on the Xbox guys with that one.
Tell everyone, guys. Tell everyone. Look, we get games as well. You see, they care about care about us, despite they also care about generations.
Yeah.
And EA got hacked. They got hacked. A bunch of data, a bunch of
The FIFA
financials got taken, and FIFA 21's source code was also stolen. And I made the joke on Twitter that now that they have FIFA 21 source code, they actually have the source code for FIFA 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And theoretically,
21, 22, 23, and 24.
And theoretically, you can't tell my joke. I'm saying it, damn it. And theoretically, they can publish their own FIFA games in the future. You know, that's what they can do.
Didn't mean to do a joke. I thought you were done with the whole, like, they've got all the files.
I said, and theoretically, and then you jump in.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's my bad. Hey, yeah, we're all comedians here. That's all the topics that I had to talk about here today. I do have a question for you.
Hold on a minute.
Go on.
How have I been renamed to Shoes?
Yeah.
On the freaking Discord. When did that happen?
So it was again.
I'm
it was
learning
me.
it just now.
Again, it was me. I misspelt your name, and everyone jumped onto it. And I was like, "Well, I'm changing your name."
God freaking damn it! This is the problem with letting you take control of like a bunch of stuff, which is that technically you own our Discord, even though it's ours. Technically, because you're the one that it's attached to that email.
You can only have one owner.
Which, by the way, it's not like I don't know the passwords or couldn't guess them if I didn't. But technically, you're the owner, which means you have more permissions than me.
Yeah.
Which is... It burns me up, bro.
Okay. I have an idea for you. So PlayStation recently, we found out that... aren't going to be supporting generations in the way that they promised before. That it's not all going to be a generational divide, and it's not going to be PlayStation 5 games from here on out.
What? I wasn't listening. I was reading what we spoiled. I'm a professional, bruv.
Start from the beginning again. So, beep. We recently found out that PlayStation aren't going to be supporting generations in the way that they said. They're not going to be just putting out PlayStation 5 games now, like they promised before. That there is going to be this whole PS4 and PS5 thing for at least a couple of years. At least for God of War, which is going to be 2022.
Yeah.
Stupid and ridiculous, and we hate the idea. They got a lot of backlash from all the gamers out there, except for the ones that are still on PS4 that are going to have a PS5 by the time God of War comes out.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Okay.
And they might be doing this. Because Jim Ryan said in that interview, Herman Hulse said, we have 110 million PlayStation 4s out there, and we can't just leave them behind, can we? It'll be bad business. Do you think that maybe they have a business idea where they're going to continue to support the PS4 for longer than they ever have before? Maybe even for like 3, maybe even 4 years.
Right.
But... they will make dedicated versions for each of them. The initial reason why that hasn't been done in the past is because it's way too expensive to do.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't.
But if you're going to continue to support the 110 million PlayStation 4s, then that is a whole source of revenue that you wouldn't have had before.
Okay, yeah.
So that own platform with all those customers, potential customers, justifies its own version.
You mean like treating it in a microcosm as if the PS4 is the Xbox and the PS5 is the PlayStation thing, and so consider them two totally separate consoles, two totally separate player bases. Yeah.
Now, the only controversy there is that if you make God of War and you make it one way, and then you make a PS5 version of God of War and it's completely different, then people do the comparison and then go, what's what? But it's a way to give the PS4 owners a great game.
Yeah.
And then it's a way to give the PS5 owners another great game.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're selling it to PS4 is like if you was to bring out a PS4 in the PS4 generation. You're selling it to your customers. Those people will buy it. They will justify its own existence, and that will pay for the development of that. And then the PS5 will be like making a PS5 exclusive. That will pay for that one's development. What do you think about that idea? It's very different to anything that's ever happened before, and it's out there. But do you think that could happen?
I feel like the way you're saying it makes it sound viable, right? But the reality is that those PS4 guys are not going to be happy when they get to see God of War or whatever game that they enjoy compared to the PS5 version, the load times, the extra stuff that couldn't be done in their version, all that stuff. They're going to whine about it because it's not something that they're not getting access to, which by the way is a fair enough thing to complain about, but you're on an older system. and your customer base is no longer growing, it's shrinking specifically, right? Most of those guys are looking to transition to the next generation or the current generation.
Yeah.
I think it worked great for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't think Sony has the foresight. I don't think they do.
Because the way that they changed here, because it honestly, it seemed like they flipped on a dime. They suddenly went, they're saying, we believe in generations. We're going to be making games for the PlayStation 5 and no longer PS4. PS4 is gone now. That's the end of it. We just believe in generations. We're switching over. Yeah. And then the next day they woke up and they were like, no, we're making it all our exclusive games, our main tentpole games for PS4 as well.
Right.
And I don't understand what went on there. And the only thing that I could think of, I'm desperately trying to figure something out. So maybe this is me wishing something, wishful thinking. Maybe they're going to do something like this.
Well, it's not double the cost. Because so all your mocap, for example, that's the same.
Yeah.
And it's just what assets, what processing goes on top of that. So your base game, the skeleton of it, identical.
Yeah.
Certain functions like a Ratchet and Clank, for example, would never work because you've got a whole mechanic in there. You'd have to change something.
Yeah.
Okay. But like God of War, let's say, as an example, maybe? It's not exactly double, right? You don't have to reshoot everything and, so like...
And that's what I'm thinking. It's like, if you were to make it just for PlayStation 5, it would be one unit cost. We'll just say 1 unit is for one cost, right? That's how much it costs to make PlayStation 5 God of War. If you were to make it for a game for PS4, again, 1 unit cost because it's one game for one cost. Right. If you're making it for 2 consoles, again, those things match up because it's one for that and one for that. But even better, you're not even have to start from scratch.
Right.
It's only like 1.4 times the cost.
It might be more like 1.
Let's say 1.8 even.
Yeah.
It's not 2 though. That's
double,
the thing.
Yeah.
It's not double, like you're saying. So there's an added benefit there. Now, granted, there's creative elements.
Also, the player base is 100 million people.
Exactly. So they'll help. The money coming in from that will also help. There are creative aspects to this that don't work. So, like
massive issues with that. Yeah.
Essentially, you have to go to someone who's made an amazing creative narrative and go, these bits here you have to change. Yeah. And how do you make things alternate in one world than it is in the other?
Well, imagine playing Ratchet and Clank and you do the drifty thing and you smash one of the crystals, and in PS5 you just go to the next map and it's continuous. You're still on the thing. Yeah. And on the PS4 version, it loads in a whole new map, and now you just have to start running, and then you get to the next crystal and it loads in, and you're back on the rails or something. Like it will be a very different way to tell the story.
Yeah,
that's an issue.
I was just thinking about it. Obviously developers will be a bit more elegant with stuff and they might be able to figure out a way.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they probably go to their main studios and try and pitch this idea and like, can you do anything like this? Is this like a possibility? Yeah. And they'll probably come back with X, Y, and Z why it doesn't work or why it could work and stuff like that. But it made me think that you guys are now getting all this extra business, all this extra income for a game that you can do twice if you really wanted to. Although it'll be tough. It'll be tough.
Yeah, I really think the issue is creativity.
Yeah.
You're going to stump the creative license of your developers trying to make Ratchet and Clank or Rift Apart work on a PS4 or get that game onto a PS4. Now it's got an entirely different storytelling mechanic.
Yeah.
It's not going to... Right, and worse, let's say you get a Ratchet and Clank in the traditional sense, so it looks like a one prior to Rift Apart, but it's that same story.
Yeah.
And then you see footage of Rift Apart on the PS5 and how incredible that is. You're not going to be happy that you had to pay even 40. You're going to say, well, I would have paid 70 for the better game.
Yeah.
Because Rift Apart is worth 70. At least as the first demo of what stuff can be done on PS5.
That got me... the idea of games being built for the PlayStation 5 upwards. So when they said they were going to build God of War the best it could possibly be on PS5, I was like... But how do we know? Like, we know there's going to be something missing from it, right? Yeah. But then I thought about like the visuals and stuff. Could they at least go, we're going to make the PS5 version with its own dedicated textures, its 4K textures, its own ray tracing, its own lighting system, sound system, blah, 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 all that extra stuff. And that maybe would make it worth it. And then I went this one step further, and I was like, what if they make an entirely dedicated game, and it is fundamentally different with everything that it can be on PS5?
Yeah.
It was an outlandish thought. I agree. I don't even think it's too possible. But there were some bits where I was like, okay, there are some good points there, and I wanted to voice that here today.
There's no reasonable way you're going to walk into a boardroom full of suits and say, I want to ignore 100 million users and not serve them and only have... How many PS5s out? 20 million?
No, there's... Last we heard was something like 7.8 million.
That's weird. All right,
Yeah.
for some reason. Let's say 20 million by the time 2 years is up, right?
Yeah.
And then you're talking about serving a base that is going to be dwindling into the next generation, which is a different kind of game and a new price, and those guys are still used to getting that same game that they think is the same game, but it's for 40 or 50, and now they're being asked to pay 70. I think it's sticky. It's really sticky, and I do worry that it will limit the devs for the first 2 years, so we'll be 2 years behind current gen technology thinking, because they'll have to make games that they know will run linearly on the old style of processing, right? So but it sounds reasonable. Like, why would you? How can you ignore 100 million users? You can't. It's really tough to do, especially with the whole issue of production numbers and how many of the units that you've made, which is incredibly high, but for where we are, but also so many of them in the hands of scalpers, so not many people are actually on the system relative to number of units you've shipped and sold. How do you see a game company, the devs, pitching that to their bosses?
Yeah.
We want to make the game twice. Well, why? Just make it on the PS4, it'll run fast on the PS5.
That's another thing as well, because the business people are just going to see it as like, you're going to increase costs? Right. Why would you do that?
And potentially make our base unhappy. Just develop it for the PS4.
Yeah.
And so boost
the visuals.
And my real worry is that's going to be 2 years of devs not toying with what the PS5 can do, not playing with it, not testing stuff and breaking things, and finding out that actually this can be done. That this thing that previously they thought might have been a bottleneck can be optimized in a way that no longer affects it, or this multiple loading. Maybe they decide they're going to start front loading assets in a way that you didn't know could be done. Like, we don't know, because maybe one goes like, well, I'm having trouble with this. Well, because of the thing, instead of trying to load it in at the time, what if I load it in earlier and have it so it's in already, and then I have an animation where it drops down or something, right? So it takes less of the there's not so much strain in the moment.
I don't know, bro.
2 years of devs not get to play with that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like it puts us behind.
That's all the topics that we had. I did want to read out one final comment that came in by Mushushi for Anime Club. Mushushi.
Let me see it.
Musashi
for Anime Club. How do you not know that, Brabs?
I don't know. Get that weeb shit out of here.
Brab, we watched Samurai Champloo.
I still don't even know what them. I still don't know. I'm sorry.
I hate you so much.
The E3 was totally shit. For starters, Elden Ring looks fucking amazing. The concept of an open world style game written by the renowned fantasy author excites me. Nintendo Directs was better than the majority of the other presentations. They finally showed Breath of the Wild 2, which I'm hyped for as fuck for, but I do wish they showed a little bit more of the actual gameplay. Of the actual game, sorry. With that said, holy shit, were Ubisoft and Capcom conferences uneventful as hell. I can't believe they decided to only reveal Far Cry DLC before the game is even fucking out. But that's ridiculous. I can't
it's
believe
ridiculous.
That.
It's stupid.
But it's also reusing old villains too, to maximize sales and profits. They really trying to milk this bitch dry, huh? Xbox's conference were cool. Some titles showed off, catch my interest for sure.
Yeah,
that's all right there. All right, guys, that's everything we had to talk about today on this podcast. It was quite a big episode.
It was meaty. Yeah. That's me, by the way.
I don't know what it was.
You'll
Anyway,
see it. Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much for tuning into the next episode of the True Gamer podcast.
The next episode?
This only episode.
Right.
This episode of the True Gamer was. Tune in next time.
I'm looking out for TVA agents now.
Minuteman everywhere. And we'll catch you guys all in the next one.
We will, yeah.
Remember to leave those corrections down there. We'll read them out at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one, actually.
Be nice. Be nice.
Don't be nice.
Be nice.
Come on, you're leaving a comment anonymously on the internet. Be whatever you want.
Exactly. All right, bro. Catch you in the next one.
Catch you in the next one.